We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for making us part of your day. Week 3 in the NFL is in the books. Man, it was memorable. Block punt, block field goals, pick sixes, major key injuries, coach firings already. After that bagel put up by the Atlanta Falcons, they have announced they have fired their wide receiver coach, Ike Hillard, and are giving passing game coordinator TJ Yates coach duties as well. So there you have it. My Miami Hurricanes, number 2 in the nation. Go Canes, go. I know it's early. Anything can happen, especially with the current playoff system. Galen, welcome to the show. How was your weekend? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Yourself? It was a good
Doing
time.
well.
Good
Doing
time.
well. Doing well. Your college team, do you root for anybody in college football these days? We never talked about that before, right? I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much been my team for quite a while now. A lot of years. Ohio State, going all the way back to what, like the Eddie George days. They were just the squad back then, and they've remained the squad. And not for nothing, I got a little bias too because one of my cousins also went to the Ohio State University.
All right. Well said. So we have a new guy today, right? Debuting first podcast. Figure we bring him on here. You suggested it, and I've listened to the people what the people want. So Tim from South Boston, Southie guy. How
Bring
are
them
you?
out, bring them out, bring them out.
How's it going? How's it going?
Going well, Tim. And by the way, we're talking off air. Your college team is.
Ohio State, baby.
How do I get so lucky, right? I mean, you
That's how
can't
we
call it.
bonded when we were kids, man. We both like Ohio State.
Jeez, man,
Dude, I mean,
unbelievable.
we just turn them out year after
I
year.
was
I mean,
I was
we're going way back. We got like what the way back when we can, him and I can at least relate both college front and the pros. We had Andy Katzenmoyle,
I was just gonna say
abs-
my
a-
favorite player.
ab- absolute stud way back when. Eddie
Right.
George, even Terry Glenn. I mean, the list just goes on, all the way to the current day. It's
Yep.
Man,
crazy.
oh man. So Galen, Tim, week 3 in the books. Scoreboard, Galen, you got some scoreboard scores for us from this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, where do we start? I mean, it was a really very good, very exciting week 3. I
It
mean,
was
so I thought anyway.
a lot of scores, a lot of games, very very close, right? Like anything could happen. Like it was
Yes,
like 7 games, like down to the
yes,
wire.
absolutely.
This is why I don't bet on
Which,
football. I'll play
which
fantasy football, but when it comes to FanDuel and putting my money on the
yeah,
line, I
you
am
just
not doing it.
I
It's so
agree.
predictable.
you're destined to come up
Yeah.
short,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Is there any particular game that you want to start off
You
at,
can give
or
us a
you just
quick
want to
rundown.
go? All right, so we can start off. I mean, right off the top, Green Bay on the road against them Cleveland Brownies, 13-10, edge the Brownies. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. You
Yeah.
know, um, I mean, I'm not surprised by the defense in this game. That's for sure. I mean, both teams were arguably as good as it gets coming into this week that you're going to find around the league, and that held true to form with a very very low scoring 13-10 edge. But wow, the Browns been playing some lights out defense. I mean, granted they were home, but if anything, they've had trouble moving the ball. I just didn't know if they would be able to just squeak by in the case that they did in this game and outscore some way somehow a Green Bay Packer team that for the most part, I mean, got weapons, got more notable weapons and more weapons than the Browns, but hey, it just wasn't Green Bay's day, and they hung in there very tight, and yeah, they edged them out. So that's where I'd like to see what you guys thought about that game.
I thought it was an upset, man. Matt LaFleur said it was not a lack of mindset, but I think it is. I mean, the Packers were 300-0 when leading by 10 points with less than 4 minutes. The last time they lost a game like this was 1967 when Vince Lombardi was the head coach. What does that tell you? They slept on the Browns. Maybe it's the uniform. Maybe it's the same old Cleveland Browns, a dog pound. And listen, you got to play. You got to play. It's the NFL. Anything can happen any given Sunday. And I think they kind of took them a little lightly. I think the Cleveland Browns, and this is what happens. Tim, what say you?
I'm more impressed the fact that the Browns were able to hold Josh Jacobs to 16 carries, 30 yards, 1.9 average.
Right.
That's very pedestrian. I mean, that's beyond pedestrian.
Yeah.
Once you stop the run game, it's fair game. And the Browns have a young up and coming defense. They finally got I'm drawing a blank here.
It's okay.
The defensive end there,
With Miles Garrett.
Oh,
Miles Garrett. They
Right.
finally got him. They finally got him some guys. The high second round pick, Schwarzenegger from UCLA, and the kid from Michigan, the defensive tackle.
Right.
They're coming together. They have a very strong front seven, underrated front seven. The only problem that I still have is obviously at quarterback. You
Flacco.
Flacco can only get you so far.
Right.
And he's an aging quarterback. But other than that, I was impressed. I was very impressed what they did. But I also think it was a trap game for the Packers, and they'll recover from it.
Right.
So that's
Browns could have been pretty much 2-1. They missed the field goal the first game versus the Ravens, and now this game, right? They hit the field goal. They could have easily been 2-1.
Yeah.
I don't bet on sports and I don't gamble on sports. And the Packers, Rashid Walker, thought the Packers could go undefeated. Well, that just ended in week 3. This is why you cannot hot dog.
That didn't last long.
That was bulletin board material right there. That's the worst bulletin board material you could ever put out there, man. Just keep your mouth shut and just take one game at a time. And hey, the Browns were waiting. They were waiting for it.
For sure.
And it's crazy. It's crazy, Tim, because like you just said, in terms of the ultimate bulletin board material,
right?
I feel like there's always that guy on said team, just on every team. Right. And no sooner that they speak, boom, there it goes. Just kiss it goodbye. And I also too like what you were mentioning with Myles Garrett, because they finally was able to, like Tim was saying, get him some much needed help, along that defensive front seven. And man, is it showing, because this guy has showed up and showed out through the first 3 weeks, and he is just flat out dominating. I mean, he's been damn impressive.
Galen, would you say that's an upset, though? Packers losing to the Browns away in Cleveland. Is that an upset?
Oh, yeah, it certainly is, because, I mean, for the aspirations that Green Bay has, and rightfully so, I mean, they were just fine and pretty much had enough pieces, I should say. Offensively, I feel like maybe they were literally just arguably one piece away, and still a damn good defense, even pre-Micah Parsons. Now you add him to the mix.
Right.
Man, like how is he not the missing piece? I mean, there's not too many Micah Parsons really around the league. I mean, he's a generational type talent, and he can just flat out wreak havoc when he's upright, when he's healthy, and he's on, he's certainly engaged. I feel like sometimes he kind of like just goes the other way and kind of just takes plays off, or just flat out just doesn't show up. But I feel like through the first 3 weeks, I mean, no, he's motivated, and rightfully so. He's got his contract, and he wants to prove those naysayers wrong, and not for nothing, dare I say, Jerry Jones. So I mean, yeah, there's certainly been elevated on that side of the ball, and again, like Tim was just saying, I'm not really all that overly concerned. They have a great running game, a damn good quarterback, one of the better ones around the league, and Jordan Love. They have, Jesus, a plethora of wide receivers, which is almost why you don't ever really see them cue in, hone in on any one particular guy. I mean, I feel like just about any of those wide receivers at a moment's notice can go off and be a difference maker for said game. So they're very, very good. They will be there. I fully expect, by season's end, and they will, when all said and done, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And the NFC, they need to watch out, because this is a small minor blip on the radar. They'll be fine.
Can we talk about the rookie running back from the Ohio State?
Yeah, Junkins.
Can we
Yeah, he's
talk
been doing
about
his
him?
thing. He's been doing his thing.
18 carries, 94 yards, 5.2 average.
Yep.
He's a hoss, man. That's what they need, man. They need
He's
that.
looked really good.
Yeah,
Sure.
they need that.
Speaking of Jerry Jones, he
They
says
probably don't win that game without him, to be honest with you,
true.
Junkins.
Speaking of Jerry Jones, he says there will not be a tribute for Michael Parsons. It's not appropriate.
Sour
Are we
grapes.
surprised?
Sour grapes.
I mean, I'm not really surprised. It's kind of
Sour
weird to have a
grapes.
tribute with an in-trade guy.
Yeah,
I've never heard of a tribute like with maybe I'm old school. I've just never heard of that. Like having an in tribute in season when you had a major trade.
I thought Jerry's
Yeah.
all about stories making headlines, not about wins. So I'm kind of shocked he's not
Right.
doing a big tribute for Micah Parsons. But Micah says sacking Dak Prescott is going to be very painful. Tim, how many sacks for big boy Micah here on the Sunday's game of the week?
Honestly, I'm seeing 2.5, man. I'm not gonna go too crazy, but I think 2.5, and but not just that. Like everybody gets, hung up on the sack amount. The pressures. He's gonna kill them with pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's
I'm
gonna
with you.
be relentless.
As soon as he posed, as soon as you posed that question, Kenford,
Yeah.
I was right there with him coming in at least at 2, and I don't know 2.5. I can see it, but I'll go between 1.5, 2. He's definitely gonna have multiple.
What kind of trash talk does Micah tell Dak on the ground? What does he tell him? Galen, what say you? What does he tell him? What kind of shit talk is he gonna tell him?
Let me see. I'll put my inner sort of Micah Parsons channel. I'll will it into existence. I'd be like, how do you like me now? Was I worth the money?
Can I say what he's saying? He's probably saying, "Man, you do really suck." like, man,
Did you put on some deodorant? God damn, Dak.
the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is greener on the other side.
There you go. How about Go Pack Go, huh? How about
Yeah.
that?
Literally. Go back, go.
I could see it getting out of hand though. I could see it really getting out of hand because Green Bay, not just because of Parsons, they have a really good defense, and Parsons could just give them that extra jolt they need. I could just see them, like, the pressures getting up to 7, 8, 9 pressures. I could just see it.
It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
And not for nothing. Now no CD Lamb in the mix.
Yeah.
It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Do you smell Milton coming in?
Man, oh man, it's gonna be ugly. Russell Wilson. Yeah, there you go. Russell Wilson has not won a game as the starter since December 2024. QB change in NYC. Jackson Dart was named the starting quarterback today. Can he give the G-Man a much-needed spark? Can Brian Daboll's job be saved by the rookie Dart, or is it too late at this point? Tim, what say you? Is Russell Wilson cooked? Is he washed? Is he done in the NFL? Are his better days behind him?
Honestly, oh yeah, he's done. He's done. It's over for him. I think it was over for him when he was in Denver. Yeah, like, I mean, he's cooked. I respect what he did in Seattle and all that, but it's time. Like, he's a backup quarterback now. He's a good backup quarterback to have on the bench. I think you give the rookie a chance. Personally, I don't think the rookie's ready because this isn't a very talented team besides the elephant in the room, Neighbors at wide receiver. Other than that, I would not put my grandmother behind that offensive line. I mean, that offensive line is awful.
Putrid.
So, yeah.
Would you put me behind that offensive line?
Maybe. Think about it. Think about it. But they do have.
He's trying to get me killed, Kenford.
They do have some spots there. Like Scadaboo it was a good pickup.
I like
he
him.
gives him
Good
that
kid.
jolt. Yeah.
I like
He
him.
runs like with his hair on
Runs
fire.
hard.
Yeah, he does. But to answer your question, no, I think he's done, and you got to give it to the rookie.
Galen, what say you? Are you surprised he went to the rookie and not your boy, the preacher, the pastor over there, famous Jameis?
I mean, I'm a little surprised. I'm not so much surprised that Jameson Winston got skipped over in favor of Dart because, I mean, shoot, just look at that fan base, on Sunday. I mean, how many chants, especially as that game was spiraling more and more out of control. And then, of course, when he did get in there for those couple of snaps, while Russell Wilson was gathering himself on the sidelines only to return, I mean, they were like cheering. They were cheering for the kid. Then they get the kid, and then as soon as he exit stage or sideline left, right, and here comes Wilson back onto the field. They stopped booing. They started booing. They're like, no, like we finally got our guy. Like, leave him in there. But I'm with Tim. They're gonna, unfortunately, find out the hard way that, like, okay, here's your guy, but it now is not the time. I mean, this kid should at least sat another probably like 3 or 4 games. He shouldn't have seen the field before like week 7 and week 8. If not, in some cases, which I don't think we would have expected to see him sit for the whole season, but I thought at the very least we wouldn't see him before week 6 or week 7. So this is him just absolutely seeing potentially his fate as head coach there for the G-Men. Just staring him right back right back at himself, and this is a panic move. He's definitely jumping the gun and certainly pulling out all the stops, but I just don't think that that's going to be the right button. Unfortunately, at this time, job or not at stake.
What say you,
I
Tim?
disagree.
Can Brian Daboll save his job, or is it a little too late right now?
See, that's a tough one for me because I respect Daboll's like football like his
acumen.
He's very intelligent when it comes to calling offensive football, but at the same time, as the guy, he just hasn't done it. And that tandem with him and the GM in New York, they're just not getting it done.
Joe Schoen,
like, I'm not a big Joe Schoen fan, and I think he left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. I'm sure you watched you watched on HBO. Yep, Hard Knocks. They kind of like they got caught with the bluff of Barkley. They lost it, and it went downhill from there. I don't think Daboll can save it. I mean, them booing Wilson is just as bad as Philly fans booing Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's crazy, man. That's crazy.
What we do on the East Coast, man. Philly, New York, and Boston. We boo. We're passionate, man.
Absolutely. No, to answer your question, I think he's done. I really think he's on a really short leash. I think the whole Saquon Barkley thing left a bad taste in the owner's mouth, and you could see it even if you watch Hard Knocks. He was like, I'll give them a chance, but I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he sticks around.
Yeah.
But
for the season.
Yeah. Well, I definitely wouldn't either, because I'm glad you said that.
It's got to be a package deal with those two, right? Shane and Daboll, right? You can't fire one or the other, right?
That's what I'm saying. Still holding on to his job, which a week ago in the same exact program, just you and I, we said there's no way, no how that this time the following week, hence today, that he's still coaching this team. And then next thing you know, there was Friday, and then there was Saturday, and then there was Sunday, and nothing came of it. And then finally, owner was just like, I don't know if you saw those reports, but like, oh no, I think he's a really good coach, and we're happy with him, and we're not going to be looking to move on from him anytime soon. I mean, I don't know how much of that, if any of it, I even believe. I think a lot of it is certainly like tongue in cheek. But shoot, if Mike McDaniels is some way somehow holding on to his job, then certainly Daboll deserves the absolute same.
That's
and then some. I don't know, because I would have certainly my bet, like virtually like across the board, I would have bet the house Mike McDaniel would have been the absolute first firing. And he's somehow has a job, and
he's
as mediocre as Brian Daboll's been, he's been nothing special himself. He still runs circles around Mike.
Different programs. Yeah, different programs, different infrastructure.
Right.
Oh yeah, 100%.
McDaniels has no control over that Miami.
Oh
team.
yeah,
Like, there's
nothing.
Yeah.
He
He wants to go back
should
to
be
the
a lame duck.
49ers.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
should be a
Well, he
lame
is.
duck.
He is. They both are at this point. Both are.
It's
Yeah.
just a matter of when.
Yep.
Matter of if and when. Speaking of the Giants, the Chiefs 1-2, kind of unwatchable these days, right? The Chiefs talked about it again last week, lacking firepower due to injuries, suspensions. Kelsey and Reed, the Kelsey and Reed spat again. Has Kelsey fallen off? Is he lost a step on the field? Is there trouble brewing in KC? Up next for the Chiefs are the Baltimore Ravens. Both are 1-2. Somebody is going 1-3. What say you, Tim? Is there trouble in KC? Are they unwatchable? And are just the Swifties? We just tune in to see the Swifties these days.
I think with the Chiefs, they're a very well run team. I think that's everybody forgets. Very well coached. They're a team that performs well. We should talk about this after Thanksgiving when the real football starts, and I think that's their bread and butter. But right now, I do think personally, I think Kelsey has lost a step. It's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, he got his wide receiver killed in the first game by not being in the right spot. Nobody wants to talk about it, but you go back and watch the film. He was not in the right spot. He intersected in somebody's route,
Right.
which is a huge no-no in professional sports and in the NFL. You're a professional athlete. You know especially what is the 11-year. I don't have the 11-year veteran or whatever he is.
It's been in
now.
the league for a while. Yeah. Future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly. So mistakes like that, I'm sorry, you wouldn't see a Gronkowski or a Tony Gonzalez make those kind of mistakes towards, I get it. It's the twilight of his career, but there is definitely some tension between him and Andy. You could see it. You see it on the sideline. It's not the regular coach player. There's frustration, and I think they are a little nervous that the rest of the league is getting better, and let's be honest, they're a revolving door around wide receiver. And I don't want to say this, but Galen knows where I'm going with this. Tyquan Thornton is their savior right now.
His boy on his fantasy team, they saved his bacon last week. He knows all about that.
And us Patriots fans were sitting there like, what is going on? Are we in the twilight zone?
Yeah.
But that goes to show you that coaching staff can get the best of the players, what the New England Patriots were able to do before.
Right.
I think the Chiefs will be all right in the long run because they have too much of a good nucleus. They're not a team. Yeah.
If they make the playoffs, are they one and done though? How far can they really go?
I think they're the type of team I'll compare them to the 2018 Patriots. Nobody thought they could do anything. They got to the playoffs. Everybody thought they were going to get blown out. But what they did have was experience and to be honest, the FU, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, they have that aura about them, right? They're the big bad Chiefs. They won 3 out of 5 Super Bowls, right?
And that old aura of the Patriots, the teams lost already right when they got off the bus. They had that intimidated and
intimidation.
The teams still are intimidated by Chiefs. I don't care what anybody says. They shoot themselves in the foot. The Chiefs are not that good right now, but I think they'll weather the storm. But I do think Kelsey's going to be a problem this year. I think he's very distracted. I don't know if it's the whole Swifties situation, but he's lost a step. I wouldn't say a step. I think he's lost 2 steps. If you watch him breaking out of his routes, it's sluggish. I mean, they're not sharp. He's rounding everything off. But
Galen, what say you? Kelsey has lost a step. Why hasn't the media and us fans not make a bigger deal about him shoulder tackling Andy Reid there on the sidelines? Are we making it, or just is it a big deal? No big deal? What do you make of Kelsey and Reid?
Well, I mean, it's like Tim was saying. It's the whole aura and all that stuff like that. Stuff like that, of the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously proven champions, still got a lot of star-studded talent, at least from, in some cases, hence Kelsey, a notoriety standpoint, as opposed to, a legit dude on the field, but the fact of the matter is you just, like Tim was saying, I mean, they're not the same team. They won't go very far, to answer your question. I might give them, a win in the playoffs, but I don't see them getting anywhere near the just playing for the Super Bowl and getting to the AFC Championship. I think unless some way, somehow, whether it's the return of Rice there, their star wide receiver, them making an in-season trade at some point, to maybe again continue to build alongside of a soon returning Rice into the fold, because Tyquan Thornton, he's been the guy these last couple of weeks, but as we've seen since drafting him here in New England, I mean, I'm still thinking it's a matter of when that this guy goes down. Like Tim was saying, he can never, stay on the football field, to even be given a legitimate chance. And then the little bit of time that he just didn't really offer much there. So
he got hurt
and
right
then,
in the ground.
Right. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, he's done. Hollywood Brown, I'm sorry, that was a very, very flukish week one. Then you're down to already Kelsey.
Right.
I mean, I don't need to expand upon that any further. I mean, I'm with Tim. He's nowhere even close to being the same guy. Tim says he lost 2 steps. I think he's lost at least 3 steps.
No separation.
I mean, he's very pedestrian. I mean, look at his stat line from this past week. He finished with 7 targets. He caught 4 of them for 26 yards.
What is that?
Kelsey in his prime for all those many years, even if he caught those same 4 passes, guess what? They would have gone for 80, 85 yards. You know what I mean? At right around 20 yards a pop. So, he was very elusive. He was known for yak. Now it's just like he's what? Dare I say, a possession receiver? You find him and he's going down. He's got no juice. He's got nothing left. I mean, shame on him for having that little sort of like spat or whatever that was with Andy Reid on the sidelines. They're not looking so hot right now. But I will say this. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I have been encouraged by what I've seen from him. He seems like, he's destined to keep this team together and at least, try and carry this team as far as he can, for as long as he can. But I like I said, I can't speak enough about Rice. When Rice does come back, that's a huge piece to their offensive puzzle that's missing now, that won't be for too much longer.
They're not running the ball effectively either, right? Pacheco.
Pacheco. He's another one, you know. I'm waiting for them to turn to this rookie and start giving him some like legitimate run here and some snaps and get some opportunities. I mean, you see this past week, he carried the ball just 2 times, but he got 13 yards.
Yeah.
6.5 average as opposed to Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. I mean, Pacheco, is he really healthy? And Kareem Hunt, his better days are behind him.
Seriously. But they're still the Chiefs, right? They have Dadora, and they're the Chiefs, well coached, and they got some Hall of Famers on that side of the football, defense and offense. So if they get in, anything could happen in the playoffs. But the Chargers, man, they're trying to run away with this thing, 3-0 right now. So it's going to be an uphill battle for the
have they looked good?
Yeah,
they've looked so good.
Really, really good. Eagles and Rams, right? Tale of 2 halves. I cannot believe this game. I was in awe and shocked. I mean, 26-7. Eagles were left for dead, down by 19 points. Then they went on to score the next 26 points. Hurts and Sirianni are now 3-0 versus Sean McVay. Rams, very, very good team, very good, well coached. And they couldn't beat the Birds in the snow. And now this past Sunday, they had us in the ropes again, and they just cannot seem to get the job done. Eagles' biggest comeback since the miracle at the Meadowlands Part 2 with a blocked field goal. Actually 2 blocked field goals in a game, and first time in 50 years. And they bottled up Saquon Barkley, right? 18 carries, less than 50 yards. No worries. Jalen Hurts did it with his arms and his legs as well. So how crazy was that game? First half, I mean, -1 passing yards for Jalen Hurts. Second half, he got 4 tutties, right? 3 touchdowns, 1 tush push. I mean, how crazy was that game, Galen, altogether?
Yeah, I mean, that game was insane. I mean, if whether you're a fan of Philly or not, right. I mean, hey, clutch and really just timely football is just, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I can appreciate it. you know, and I did appreciate that. I mean, Philly was on the verge, like this close from basically just being totally like pantsed and just
Yeah.
made an example, you know, by the
Oh,
Rams,
yeah.
you know, by an away team, you
Yeah.
know, at home, Philly, you know, like when do you ever see that them getting, you know, circles ran around, you know, in front of their home fans? You
Yeah.
don't, you know. So I mean, kudos to the Rams to getting off to a rather fast start, you know, right there in the first half. You know, they do have a pretty good defense, so I'm really surprised that Philly even end up coming storming back the way they did. I mean, am I surprised? No, because it's a very, very talented, you know, Philly, you know, both offense and defensive team. When again, you know, that they show up and they're playing, you know, the type of ball that we expect and we do often see from them. But I will say this, LA Rams, man, I mean, they just dropped the ball, and you know, for as suspect and very, very shaky as the Eagles defense was in the first half, they clamped down, they shut them down and took their, you know, level of play up defensively up a couple of notches. It showed they really couldn't do anything once they did. And then, you know, you just hit on it as well. Jalen Hurts and company in the passing game, they got an opportunity. They, you know, made more of a focus with the passing game. And guess what? Guys like AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, these guys
Dallas Goedert.
are players. They are ballers in their own right. The problem with Philly is too many times they get too tush push happy.
Yeah.
They get too Saquon Barkley happy or whatever, and they almost like ignore these guys. You know, like very close, if not in some cases, it seems like entirely. And I just don't know why. They're more balanced of a team than what they let on. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. They started hitting on all three phases. Special teams, especially, I'm sure we're going to get into that in a minute. But special teams, offense, and defense, and you know, and here we are a half later, they're still undefeated.
How demoralizing is this, Tim? Because you had him in the snow, right? When it mattered most, the snow game, you almost won that game. And now this game, you're up 26-7. You pretty much got the game in the bag, right? So what do you tell these guys? How do you coach these guys up going forward? Because 2 block field goals, and you're going for field goals while you can't do the tush push, right? So you're trying to go for the field goals, and that's not working. You can't do the tush push. You can't play keep away from the Eagles, and you give them life in the second half. But how do you bounce back from this, Tim?
I think it's one of those that they have to just go back to what works, and McVay, I think sometimes, and this is what he did in the Super Bowl in 2018, he got too cute. And, you know, when McVay sticks to the script, which is his genius offensive scheming, he does well. The other problem, though, that I can't understand with this game is the Eagles barely got after. I think they had 1 sack the whole game.
Yeah,
and that's unheard of for an Eagles defense.
Yeah.
And you have a Rams
times in a snow game.
Yeah, so and then you have the Rams who had about 4 or 5 sacks, and usually the team that is, you know, the more aggressive at the quarterback is the one that's victorious at the end of all this.
Right.
This is not the case. This is, for me, this is more of they just couldn't get it done, plain and simple. The better team won, and this is why I do like the Eagles to repeat, in the sense of they're a team. We're talking about aura before with the Chiefs. They definitely have the aura. Good teams play all 4 quarters. I don't care if you're shitty for the first 2. If you can come back in the 4th, that's where the football ends. The thing is with McVay's teams, he does this a lot. They're very like, you know, that brand new shiny car. It's really fast and great, but it doesn't last long. The gas runs out. You're just left it in an alleyway with this beautiful car.
Yeah.
And everything else is falling apart around you. This is the problem. They got to go back to the drawing board. They have a very good defense. They have a good offense. Williams had almost 100 yards.
Williams is a baller. You
Yeah,
know, Adams is
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Nakua is
Yeah.
great.
yeah,
Kyron
yeah,
Williams finished with 20 carries and 94 yards.
yeah.
Yeah.
4.7 yards a carry.
But
You
he
know,
got his 18 yards receiving, so he got 100 plus. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think what hurts him too, like when it's a game like this coming back, is it the INT that Stafford threw. I know it's only one, but things like that when it's a team like Philly that
Can't give
they
him
don't
life.
shoot themselves in the foot. They come back. They can start off slow. You're allowed to do that, but it amazes me for a team that barely got to the quarterback, and that's their bread and butter. When you watch a Philadelphia Eagles team play, you can see that the dictation of the game is when how much pressure they're getting.
Yeah.
And they're just pinning back their ears, and it just wasn't happening to them.
It's unbelievable.
And special teams is just another whole mess in the NFL anyway. I mean,
We had two block field goals. First time in 50 years that's happened for the Eagles. Tim, what do you make about the tush push? You're a fan of the tush push?
I got to be honest. I'm very old school. Like just defend it. Just defend it. Like I don't. There's no. You can't be pick and choose because you get beat on a play that is it's a legal play.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that my team is stronger than your team and my guys can push you, but you got to cry about it because you can't stop it. You know it's coming,
Right.
so do something about it.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Galen's all about the tush push as well too.
Yeah, I never understood that argument.
Galen, what do you tell these guys in the locker room if you're Sean McVay? You got to be more aggressive. What do you tell them? We need better corners to shop AJ Brown. You have the Eagles twice on the ropes now when it matters most. Now Hurts and Sirianni 3-0 versus you guys. How do you bounce back from this?
It's just plain and simple. Like Tim was just saying. The last time I checked the game of football, not one, not two, but 4 quarters, 4 complete quarters. They play 4 complete quarters. They find a way. I'm not saying that Philly doesn't make it interesting and stop breathing down their neck, but I still think that the Rams have enough talent. As a matter of fact, I know they have enough talent. Obviously, offensively, we saw it in the first half, and they have enough on the defensive side of the ball as well to, dare I say, hang on if need be. That sort of, final push, and charge is going to come from the Eagles. Then just button up, buckle down and just stay the course, and when the dust settles, guess what? They could have, still went over on Philly on the road, and just that too, with it being the road game. Yes, it's going to, guess what, be even harder. That Philly is a very, very tough place to play. It always has been. It's got one of the most passionate and amazing fan bases and home field advantages, across this league that you're going to find. But still, you're up. You do have enough firepower with your wide receivers. You got not just Kyron Williams there, but Blake Corum too has been coming on in recent weeks as well. You have obviously maybe not a guy anymore in his prime, Matthew Stafford, but you still have a very capable and competent, more than that, in Matthew Stafford. So it's just like, it just comes down to playing all 4 quarters, being very disciplined, knowing when to just stay in the trenches and kind of like, stick to the game plan. And, basically like we so often see and, hear from these coaches, being translated to their players or whatever, is they just have to stay the course. And unfortunately, if they do that, yes, they could have easily stolen this game from Philly and hung on. But because they let their foot off the gas and didn't quite play a complete game, hey, you reap what you sow. So you see, the end game. And I know it got a little fluky there with, 2 blocked field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. When's the last time you've seen that, right? not never. We've seen a miss a blocked field goal attempt pretty consistently. I mean, yeah, we do see that, but 2 in 1 quarter, I mean, all right, that's on some next level type stuff. And when you have 1, okay, that's fine, but when you get 2, now I'm probably looking at like the special teams and like, what are we giving something away? Like, is something breaking down? Like
that's Jordan Big Baby Davis, man.
That too. I mean, that dude is just like he's an absolute beast and a monster, but still, like that just cannot happen, Tim. That is what I'm saying. That can't happen. That's
Tim,
a
what do you make
breakdown.
of Jordan Davis? Big dude, lost 21 pounds. He doesn't really touch the football that much. What do you tell him in that moment? Slide, go down, don't go for the touchdown, or you just run it in? Because you're up by 1, the game is pretty much over, right? I mean,
I just fall on the ball and live to play another game. Yeah. The problem is, I as someone who was an ex-player, like any kind of lineman, like you touch the ball, your eyes get big as grapefruits, and you're so excited.
Yeah.
Nah, man, just play for another. You're not Barry Sanders.
Right.
Just you're in that role.
Right.
He's 6'6", 340 pounds.
Right.
I'm glad to see him get that moment, because then he could build this momentum on his career, because he surely could use this.
And what do you make of the Eagles' slow start? Right, the offense kind of weird, kind of mid, kind of meh. Jalen has had multiple offensive guys in his ear the last 3-4 seasons. There's always a different voice. What do you make about that?
I think the play calling is very inconsistent. I think they have 2 of the best wide receivers
in the league.
You gotta be balanced. You gotta be balanced, and I don't like. And Galen touched on it before. Like you're going on one way or the other. Like you're either running Hurts too much or you're running Barkley too much.
Right.
What I would do personally is like you're right now East Coast team. You have this great weather right now. Pass as much as you can. Get those receivers on your side, right? So then when the snow starts falling in the winter, and you got to hand it off, and then you flip it. What they're doing, by the time winter time comes, they're like, hey, man, I'm out of here, dude. I don't want to be here.
Right.
Then you start getting trade talks about trade rumors about A.J. Brown and stuff, which they would never trade him right now. That they'll lose $56 million. Anybody who thinks that is asinine. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. Yeah.
But it is crazy because, like you said, they have 2 of the absolute best wide receivers, arguably. But the way they treat these guys, especially on a week-to-week basis, it's like you just would never know it. You would never know it. You would swear both AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are the, I hate to say it, but the level of caliber wide receivers that we currently have and have had these last few years here in New England.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like,
crazy.
Use these guys.
They got 2 Ferraris in the garage just sitting there, man.
You're parking.
Yeah.
Dude, what we would do as Patriots fans to have one of these guys, let alone 2.
It's crazy. I mean, AJ had his first catch in the 4th quarter versus Dallas, the first game of the season. I'm like, really? Decoy? Like, really? What's going on here? So they got to clean that up. They got to clean that up moving forward. John Clark on the Eagles versus the Bucks coming up says, I'm told the Eagles are changing their travel schedule to Tampa this year. They're going on a day ahead of schedule on Friday to acclimate to the heat. They may have a workout on Tampa on Saturday. The Eagles have lost 3 out of their last 4 games versus the Bucks. So if the Bucks wear those creamsicle uniforms again, watch out now. I don't think they're going to rock those uniforms again this week. But it should be an interesting game versus the Eagles and the Buccaneers this week. Monday Night Football, Lions, Ravens. It's the same old Ravens to me, man. We talked about it with Galen the other day at the time. He can have the perfect game, but he'll throw a pick or a fumble, or Henry will fumble, and lo and behold, that's 3 fumbles on Henry. I don't know what's going on with him. They sacked Lamar 7 times. It's a team that's supposed to be going to the Super Bowl this year. And their O-line, their defense, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on this year with the Baltimore Ravens. Could be the coach, man. It could be the coach. But hey, the Lions, they're playing no offense, new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, no problem. Gibbs is a beast. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a beast. Ravens defensive allowed 97 points this season, and I drafted them. Go figure. of my fantasy football team. So go figure that. But Galen, what say you with this game? You surprised by the Ravens' performance last night, or is the same old story?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly surprised. I really am because, not for nothing, but I mean, have a lot of respect for Detroit. I'm not surprised that at the very least they were in the game, and I fully expected them to make it interesting. But yeah, just like we were just saying about Philly, you know, you're at home, you have the home field. Again, another great home field advantage, a very passionate fan base. I mean, they just deserve better. And I'm just really surprised that some way, somehow, especially defensively, that even Detroit, as talented and very explosive this offense can be, I thought that, they just wouldn't be able to outscore Baltimore,
At
especially
home.
because not just that, but yeah, there is that factor too. There is that element, but they're an indoor team. They're meant for, like, the whole, like, fast track and stuff like that. You just get them out, outdoors. I just feel like it's not the same setting. It's not the same sort of preferred setup. Just I just feel like they should have been able to just get the best of the Lions, and especially with a squad like Baltimore, a squad like Philly. I mean, it's not that hard. These guys should be rolling out of bed, just flirting with 30 points, and then it's just, I don't know. This is 2 out of the first 3 weeks. I mean, maybe Baltimore, they just have bigger fish to fry, not offensively, but on the defensive side, because they let up 41 points opening week. I mean, absolute shootout. And arguably it's going to go down as one of the best games all year, only to follow it up 2 weeks later and then lose last night 38-30. So, I mean, when's the last time we seen a Baltimore, defensive led squad, averaging what, points against? They're probably averaging right around 30 plus points through the first 3 weeks. So yeah, I mean, I get it. We haven't seen, Derrick Henry play the best and most efficient football, especially, with his fumbleitis out the gate. But you got to think that that's going to fix itself. That's going to turn around. Lamar Jackson, he's going to, like, get his act together. But from what I've seen here through the defense, I think it's more telling about the defense currently as we speak than it is the offensive side of things. But certainly a very, very disappointing loss, and certainly a loss that when all said and done, I mean, they might be looking back as a lost opportunity here in week 3 when they're, trying to battle towards the end of the season and everything, and they're jockeying for playoff positioning. I have a feeling that this one here might come back to bite them.
What say you, Tim? How surprised were you? New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, and Brown did their thing. But Harbaugh, I don't know. I'm starting to have questions now. What say you?
I'm not when it regards to the Lions, this is not, like I always say, this is not my father's Lions. These Lions are tough. They're not. I kind of disagree with you, Galen, about they're a dome team. This is a different kind of Lions team. They've shown that they can go into any stadium and whip some butt. They're just tough. The thing that I do notice about the game yesterday, you got a tale of 2 quarterbacks, both of them very efficient, but one of them was killed by turnovers.
Yeah.
Turnovers is the killer of any NFL game. You are not going to win a game with a turnover. And the other killer, sacks.
Yeah.
The Lions got 7 sacks. Like we were talking earlier about what I said, most teams, when you have that high sack rate, you're the winner of the game. you're affecting the quarterback. You're affecting his mind, his reads,
Psyche,
everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you go from this with the Ravens, because I got to be honest, I really feel the Ravens are the 2025 underachievers for me. Or start off with, they're underachievers. They I think it's time to look for a new coach.
New voice. Yeah.
It's okay to say, hey man, you've got me this far, but listen. Landry was a perfect example with Dallas. He was the coach for 20-something years. Okay, started losing. He became a figurehead that everybody was just afraid to say, hey, we got to move on. I kind of feel like Harbaugh. Yes, he won a Super Bowl long time ago.
Yeah.
Time to move on. You're wasting this talent. They're a very talented team. I agree with everything Galen said. Like it was a shock in that sense. But this is but let's not take away. This is a very tough Lions team. Very tough, well coached, and as much as I was never a big fan of Goff, he knows how to spread the ball around, and they protect the football. Bad football gets you losses, and that's exactly what happened. And the Ravens got to really start to look for a new coach. I hate to say it. I could be wrong. They could change it around, but I just don't think he's the guy. How many times have we seen them in the playoffs that we all think they're gonna? This is the year.
This is the year. This is the year.
Right.
Every single
and you're wasting Lamar's window, man.
Yeah.
Got that Buffalo syndrome.
Yeah,
but Tim,
That
Tim,
window closes fast. Tim really does.
But to your point about the toughness, no, I agree with you. They're not the prototypical sort of indoor dome built team. They are very tough. I thought, just that Baltimore would out tough them on their home turf. But I will say, speaking of toughness, it wasn't that long ago that we, us, like me and you, certainly doing what we do. We talk on the side very extensively. I mean, there was even times that me and Kenford had referenced it on the show. Let's not forget, Dan Campbell was very suspect there for a little while himself.
Kneecaps, baby. Kneecaps.
People used to
Not
stay
denying
questioning
that.
this guy, but you know what? Kudos to him, because you talk about the
Figure it
toughness.
out.
It starts right at the top.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
He's built them tough. He's coached them tough, and on the field, it's definitely paying dividends. It's showing.
He surrounded himself with good coaching, though. That's the other thing.
That's the other thing too. Yeah,
Harbaugh
absolutely.
keeps having a revolving door with offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. He just can't get the continuity, and
Right.
everybody forgets he was a special teams coach.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying he's not knowledgeable, but it does make a difference when you don't have that experience on one side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I just think it's time for them to move on. You're wasting the good years of Lamar.
I think so too. If they go playoffs, maybe one and done. If they even get to the playoffs, it's time for a new voice. Love Harbaugh. I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but I think it's
Of course.
time.
Yep.
That window closes really, really fast. You know how it is in sports, guys. Really, really fast.
And not for nothing. No excuse for them to be 1-2 right out the gate.
99 points, giving up on
There's
defense.
just no excuse for that.
I thought they'd
whatsoever.
be 3-0. I really did. I thought they'd
Yeah.
be 3-0, but it just the fumbling is a curse, man. And like once it starts happening, it's like they get in that quicksand. They can't get that mentality to get out of it. He'll figure it out, but I just don't think Harbaugh's the guy. That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Great coach, but I think it's just time to.
Yeah, it's
move
time.
on. Yeah. Jets with a blocked field goal seemed to be the theme of week 3, but then, typical Jets, right? Bucks get the ball, drive all the way downfield. Baker Mayfield balling. He's a baller. Chip on his shoulder as always. He plays better with a chip on his shoulders. The creamsicle uniforms fire as well. But man, oh man, something about these Jets though. They keep fighting Galen, but they just can't seem to close the window here. I'm not sure if this is the same old Jets. I think they're a different kind of Jets. But they just have to like you say, play every single quarter and finish the game strong. These things could just not happen. You can't allow guys to just drive down the field and kick a field goal and lose the game. You have the game won. So is it the same old Jets, Galen, by the way? And how surprised were you by the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield there on Sunday?
No, I mean, I don't think that they're the same old Jets, to be honest with you. I mean, looking back, just again through the first 3 weeks of this season, I mean, they lost on their home turf. You know,
Right.
another home loss we're talking about here against, you know, a decent, I guess you can say, an okay Steelers team. So, I mean, it was a close fought battle in week one. Yep, they definitely got done in by the Bills, so they lost that one pretty handedly, you know,
Right.
30-10, but only
Right.
to follow it up with a, dare I say, a quality loss. I mean, a loss is a loss at the end of the day, but
Right.
that's again 2 out of 3 weeks where they have a chance to pull these games out. They're in the mix. They're scoring basically 30 points a game, you know, just on the cusp of 30 points a game. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, they probably just have to tighten up, you know, defensively, which I fully expect. You know, obviously, with their coach there, Allen. Yeah, I
Aaron
mean,
Glenn. Yeah.
yeah, Aaron Glenn. I mean, that's obviously, you know, his specialty. We see it as a player, and then obviously being the DC there down in Detroit. So I fully expect for that unit to turn it around sooner rather than later. You know, I will say Brees Hall, or at least certainly in week one, he looked very spry and very rejuvenated, which was a little shocking because there was a lot of murmurs coming out, you know, throughout the summer where they may look to like divvy up the backfield and maybe, you know, go committee base and stuff like that, and him losing touches to the youngster there, Braylon Allen. So when he came out like gangbusters and blew doors, that was encouraging. Obviously, you have a really talented young wide receiver and Garrett Wilson. So they certainly do have pieces. I mean, you know, you can't really expect for them to contend this year and really be knocking on the door for playoffs. But at least until you get to that point, you know, can you be well coached? Are they gonna, you know, obviously, you know, fall in line and just go with what he's trying to get out of them? As of right now, it looks like he clearly has their intention. They're playing very hard for him. You know, they have looked good in a couple of these games, even though they're winless on the season. I have liked what I've seen thus far, pre-injury out of Justin Fields. So if he can come back healthy and give them more good games than not, I think at the very least they're headed in the right direction. And for it, that's all you can ask, and that's why I don't deem them as the same old Jets. It seems like, you know, finally they're showing promise. You know, that they're taking baby steps. They're taking, you know, small steps. But I feel like despite them being winless, they are showing enough signs of just growth week in and week out. You know, so hopefully for them and their fan base or whatever, it continues. But I wouldn't be surprised. I fully expect for them to move forward and show that growth week in and week out.
What say you, Tim? Thoughts on the Jets? Aaron Glenn coaching this team. Where do you see them ending up?
I'm a fan of Aaron Glenn. I think I'm already seeing the difference in it. As painful as it as I feel this in my heart to say this, that I see that his toughness.
Yeah.
He was a scrappy player. I see that coming through. I think it's an adjustment with his team on his style of defense because Aaron Glenn, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, last year as a Detroit Lions defense coordinator, he led the league in man coverage. So that's something I know that's new for the Jets. So that's an adjustment. They got the horses for it.
Right.
So, but I agree with Galen. It's not the same old Jets, but at the same time, there's that little voice in the back of my head. I'm waiting for the wheels to fall off because who ownership is and how they deal with the coaching and all that stuff. But I do like the direction Aaron Glenn has them. As long as the ownership stays out of it, I feel like they will be there right there with the Bills and hopefully the Patriots as the 3-tier. Because let's face it, Miami's just out to pasture right now. But I do like what I see. I agree with Galen. They're different. They're a different Jets team, and it does pain me to say that. But it's I got to give credit where credit's due. They're scrappy.
Yeah, I like the effort. If I'm a Jet fan, I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing, and compared to being a Giant fan, right? I mean, the effort.
Yeah. There's a direction. There's a direction.
For sure. Who's going on for, by the way, on Monday? Jets or Dolphins? Bum, bum, bum.
I think actually
Dolphins.
the Dolphins I think the Dolphins gonna take it.
And Mike McDaniels is still going to be he's still going to be employed.
I don't know.
Wonderful.
I don't know. Just something. It's in Miami. That right there is a huge mulligan for them, man. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's a huge advantage. It's hard to go down there in September in this heat and go play them. I think this will be the Dolphins. They'll pull it out.
They'll pull it out. What say you, Galen? Jets or Dolphins going on for?
I don't know. I think if Fields comes back from concussion and is cleared, I don't know. I definitely give the Jets more than a fighter's chance, and I might lean Jets. But until we, hear what's going on exactly on the health front, it's kind of hard to, go against him and his prediction. I would probably think it might end up being Miami. But then again, if they go ahead and just some way, somehow blow a game like we've seen them do, it wouldn't surprise me, because I feel like that team right now, they're clearly in disarray. They're saying all the right things for now, but I don't really trust what's coming out of Miami and being reported. I really feel like there's an obvious disconnect between the personnel, just all throughout that team and the head coach especially. I just feel like they're just on opposites, and they basically have tuned them out. And I feel like, in the weeks that lies ahead, that's going to continue to bear that out more and more. But right now, I mean, certainly you have to give them a slight edge with their current personnel. I mean, guys like A-Chain, Tua still can be a functionable quarterback. You got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle stepped up and played really good last week. I mean, Miami doesn't have as much. Not Miami. The Jets doesn't have as much firepower as Miami. So
they almost scared the Bills, though. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. They almost scared the Bills.
They played well. They did.
If that team shows up, they will beat the Jets.
Okay.
That's just my thing. I mean, they almost did shock the Bills. I was giving Galen a little bit of it the other day. I said, "What's your chance?" He's like 0%. I said, "Oh, they almost broke your 0%, my brother."
Yeah,
no predictions, Galen. No predictions.
They made it very interesting for a half. Actually, no, I lied. 2.5 quarters. They kind of gave him a little bit of a scare all the way to late.
Then it went back to the Bills just being the Bills.
Yeah.
Right.
Patriots, Steelers. Drake maybe he looked good at times, but that pick, 2 huge turnovers in the red zone, that costly fumble, that can't happen in this league. And Aaron Rodgers picks up his first win in Foxborough. Did the Patriots lose that game, Galen, or the Steelers won that game?
I mean, how can you not say that the Patriots lost that game? Yeah. They absolutely did. And just like Tim was saying just a couple minutes ago, turnovers is such a big, detriment in this league, across the board. I don't care who you are. I don't care, how highly skilled and proven you are in this league. If you don't, stick to the fundamentals, if you don't just obviously protect the football and just do the basics, guess what? It's gonna, it's gonna punch you in the mouth. And more often than not, it's gonna do you in. And that's exactly, unfortunately, what we saw, play out there again at home. And we're talking about another home team, and it cost the Patriots. I mean, there was certainly a subpar throw by Drake May. He's certainly kind of looking back on it, probably could have, put a little bit of rainbow action and just put it only where his wide receiver, could potentially catch it in the cornerback portion of the end zone there. Instead, he puts it on the line, and obviously the defense made a hell of a play on the ball and picked it off. And then if it's not for that play, then there's Ramondre Fumble Stevenson himself, fumbling the ball, 2 times, I think it was. And one of them right at the goal line, inexcusable. And the funny thing is we saw how much of this just last year, 7, I think it is. And now we're at like another 3, I think, on this year. Like, it's getting out of control. And like me and Tim continue to say, on the daily and stuff like that, when's enough going to be enough? And guys like him, you have your contract, you've been paid and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, Mike Rabel has to make an example. Maybe you don't outright make him inactive. I'm not saying not to dress the guy, but if he's right now playing about 55-60% of the snaps, sharing the backfield along with his fellow, running mates, Antonio Gibson, the rookie Travion Henderson, well, guess what? Maybe that should fall all the way down to like 20-25%. ESPN reporter Mike Reese was saying that today. And he said that, and I agree with him. It makes perfect sense. But, he needs to be minimalized moving forward, or at least in the short term, the immediate future. And then another one, I'm getting sick and tired of really just being pumped the tires of to no end. Pop, where are you? Freaking Douglas. Another basically no-show. And he doesn't seem to be in the right spots compared to a lot of his other wide receivers. He catches that pass that ultimately ended that game for them by popping back, no pun intended, but stepping back instead of just catching and just plowing forward and just embracing the hit and just making sure you get across the first down marker. He's just playing some really, really stupid and just inexcusable football. And if there's one guy that I think needs to take a seat altogether and not even be dressed, it's certainly Pop Douglas. And Ramondre's right there, kind of right behind him, but I would have to say Pop for me is at the top of this list, because between the two of them, cost them 14 points. It should have been New England, in this game, 28-21. They should have had another 2 scores in them. And, like I said, I'm not completely exonerating Drake May. It wasn't all bad, but I'm looking at those 2 guys, Ramondre Stevenson and Pop Douglas. I'm good, and this is why you go out and hire Rabel, me and Tim were talking earlier. You need to make an example in that locker room, because if he doesn't, he's going to run a very, very serious risk of potentially losing that locker room, sooner rather than later, because they're basically not going to be able to take him seriously. You don't make examples out of your quarterback, but you can with your running back, paid or no pay. You can do it with an average receiver in this league. I'll ask both of you guys, what has Pop Douglas done in this league? I'll wait. Yeah, he hasn't done a damn thing.
Not a whole lot.
He's just been his nickname, Pop. Whoop-de-doo. He's a sensation, a summer sensation during training camp. Every year they say, oh yeah, watch, he's gonna go out and catch 80, 90, flirt with 100 balls. Where? I don't see it. That's all he's good for, is just being able to run around without pads on in the summer, in the month of August, in July. Who cares? I worry about September and beyond.
What say you, Tim? You guys pretty much lost the game, beat yourselves up, right? It's one thing to fumble, but you fumble in the red zone. Those are costly. You can't come back. You have Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, on the other side of the football. What say you? These guys teaching any ball security over there in New England, and thoughts on Vrabel as the head coach?
I have a lot to put into this. I'm just going to paint a picture.
Yeah.
About a little over a year ago, June 2024, Ramondre Stevenson signs a $36 million contract, $17 million guaranteed. Since then, 9 fumbles. 9 fumbles.
Wow.
Within a year span. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
That is unheard. You look up any of the top running backs in the NFL, and right now his career fumbles are 17 fumbles, and this is his 5th year.
He's lucky to have a job.
And where I agree with Galen is you have to set an example. You have to say, listen, you are a professional. You know what your role is. But you are not performing to what you're capable of. Ball security is job security, and you're not performing job security right now because you're dropping the ball.
Correct.
And this is the problem. Like, yes, he helped us win Miami. No deny. Like, he did. But the next week, what wins in this league is consistency. You cannot be an up and down. And now, we'll say this. If he was a first year, he was a rookie, or he was going on his 2nd year, okay. There's leeway. There's leeway.
Right.
No, but there's not leeway for if it was Bill Belichick, he'd be sitting the bench for the rest of the year. Yeah. But there's leeway. But now this guy's going on his 5th year. This is a problem. This is a mental issue with him. Like there's a lack of confidence, and it's really like I said before, it's like quicksand. Once you're in there, you just keep sinking. You're moving around. You're trying to do what you can, and nothing's happening. You're making it worse. So going back to what Galen said, no, Drake May had two big plays that were turnover worthy. But what everybody forgets is to paint the picture is each week this young man progresses in the system. You can see the trajectory where he's going. The throws that he makes is NFL caliber, elite throws, vision that you can see. Now, he's still trying to do too much, which that fumble was horrendous because he was trying to make something out of nothing.
Right.
He's got to learn you can't win it on one big play. You got it small chunks. Football's a game of inches. Keep building, keep building, keep building. Can't do it all in one shot. Now, the throw in the end zone, yes. If he arced it a little different, but we can say that this is what I have a problem with all the local radio and all this. Everybody's a Monday morning quarterback. He should have done this. He should have done that. But he's not the only quarterback. There's quarterbacks that had horrendous throws, horrendous. But we're focused on a kid who's still learning and only has 26 college starts. Now, let's put that comparison to Jaden Daniels, who has 55 career college starts. That's almost 2 to 3 years, man, playing. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think we forget he's raw. We all knew that. We all knew coming out in the draft, he had the most elite tools. You just had to mold him. He's a piece of clay. Everybody wanted to get their hands on him, but they knew that they had to change his mechanics. There was a lot of work. I have faith that when all said and done, McDaniels is the guy to mold him. But McDaniels also has to realize, which I've been seeing, he's been molding and taking some of the offensive system from Thomas Brown, who was an offensive coordinator with the Bears, who has the West Coast background. And he's taking a little bit of Downing, and they're mixing it, and they're doing more bootlegs and RPOs, and that works for May. May is not Tom Brady. May is not going to sit there, dink and dunk, because let's face it, Tom Brady was the GOAT, and he had precision accuracy. That is precision accuracy football that quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, that's what they do. May's accurate when he's on the run, when he's bootlegging. That's Jalen Hurts, those kind of quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes stated, I could not read the NFL defense for the first 2 years that I was in the league. The NFL is a different game than when Tom Brady came, when he has to go online and read everything. Josh McDaniels is making this kid read. He's smart enough, and you can see he could read stuff. Most of the quarterbacks, I would say 75%, 80% of quarterbacks cannot read what he's doing. They're saying, hey, if this play don't work, do this backyard play. They all playing backyard football now.
Takes
it's
time,
not what it used to be. You have to be patient. Now, that said, the Pop Douglas situation, there is a problem when you're a 3-year veteran. And yes, you had 64 catches last year. The problem is if you watch his tape, he didn't run a one damn route on a route tree. He was just running around like with his head cut off because, let's be honest, we were behind games most of the time. He's not a crisp route runner. I said this before. Everybody is so bullish about how he'd be perfect in Josh's system. How? He doesn't have the size or the play strength, which is very important, play strength, to be in Josh McDaniels' system as a slot. You can't compare him to Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Troy Brown. These are all guys who are well over 200 pounds. Everybody forgets this. They can take a beating. Pop is he's petite. He's a petite man. He's very small. He's a jitterbug.
Yeah.
They're not using him in his best capacity. I think he's more of a gadget player. That's just my opinion. Now, he showed he cannot be at the right place at the right time. People are saying, May overthrew him. May has too much. He's working with two rookies on the left side. It's going to be growing pains.
Yeah.
He's seeing the field. He's trying to throw. But when the ball hits you in the hands, I know everybody saw this, and you drop it, come on, man. You got to make that play.
You got to catch it.
And when it's and when it's 4th and 1, and you want to be the guy, you want to be the Pop, you do not cut back. Everybody knows your coaches always tell you jackknife and you go straight forward. Why did you go backwards?
Yeah.
That, to me, that's his football awareness is not ideal, and you need to sit him on the bench. Listen, I'm not going to start a parade for Chisholm. I do think the kid is smart enough to be in there, but I also think they should take Stephon Diggs, put him in the slot, which he was very capable last year with the Texans, and you give Kyle Williams, the rookie, who had 1 catch. You know how many yards? 12 yards. That goes to show you when that kid touches the ball, stuff happens because he's their best separator. But we're just getting in this thing where it's like we're sentimental. Yeah. And Pop is not the guy. I hate to say it. I don't want anybody losing their job, but this is 3 years, man. You're not showing anything. You don't fit the system. And this is a system where it's not like Alex Van Pelt where you could run around, hey, give me the ball. Right. This is like, hey, 5 steps, turn, the ball's going to be there.
And that's a much easier call to make as opposed to Ramondre, even though he can make an example out of Ramondre, just for the simple fact that one is getting paid, and getting paid pretty handsomely. Pop, peanuts. You're not paying him nothing, so he needs to sit. That's like it's not even negotiable at this point.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. We'll keep an eye on the Patriots moving forward. Colts versus Titans. Danny Dimes, aka Indiana Jones. I mean, this guy is very good. He's been efficient all season long. Colts are now 3-0. The Giants are 0-3. Who misses who? First time the Colts are 3-0 since 2009. Are the Colts for real? Galen.
I mean, it certainly is shaping up to be just that. I mean, you just hit on it. Danny Dimes, man, has he been like everything that they could have hoped for and more. Between him and I mean, we already knew what JT is going to bring to the table on a consistent basis. His one and only Achilles heel, thus far in his career has been, unfortunately, the alluded injury here and there. That he's sometimes
he's known to have those injuries. Yeah,
he's known to have, and he's missed time or whatever, and sometimes has not really been a factor. But I mean, at least as of right out the gate, thus far, I mean, he seems to be the guy of like 3-4 years ago that we remember. So I mean, he's really kind of balling out and raised up his game. I feel like it's a lot easier to just have his talents speak for themselves, both on the ground and just being a factor too, catching passes out of the backfield, because the type of caliber play that you've gotten from Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones, he's not killing them. He's certainly not even really having to settle neither in terms of being a game manager, like what we basically seen his whole career. As a Giant, he wasn't really much more than that. We didn't know if he was actually capable after like all that run that he got, and it was just subpar performance after subpar performance. He wasn't elevating the offense. The offense would never elevate the quarterback, and if they do, I mean, then obviously you're not the guy. But down in Indy, he's been anything but. He's been, like I said, just an absolute surprise.
Right.
He's been like basically a gem for them at the quarterback position. And I feel like because now he's his own factor in terms of at times carrying the offense, he's making big throws. He's just hitting his receivers in the end zone. He's even running, like we did see him do pretty successfully as a member of the Giants. He's bringing that element to this offense as well. And for it, you basically have a borderline, obvious dual threat quarterback. Yeah, not to the likes of Lamar Jackson or a Jaden Daniels, but he's very, very effective. And defenses now, I think through 3 weeks, I mean, you know what, you have to kind of like account for him, and you have to start to game plan for Daniel Jones and his effective self up until this point. And I feel like that will start to be a focus now. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see more of a concentration as early as week 4. And if and when that does happen, then we'll see if Daniel Jones can counter that and still remain effective. But until they start to take this guy seriously, which they may not have been doing through the first 3 weeks, I mean, yeah, he's just basically lighting up defenses. And I feel like because he's been very, very effective and very efficient, he's also helped by default, just elevate the whole consistent game in and game out that we've seen thus far from Jonathan Taylor. Again, like we arguably really haven't seen, or at least that consistently. Like he had a great year last year, but when he first came into the league, I mean, he was an absolute force, and he's looking like that guy now that they're getting steady, very reliable and quality play at the quarterback position, which we haven't been able to say, from Indy, in quite some time. So yeah, kudos to them. And then they're also too really clicking and they're flying high defensively. So, offensively, defensively, they're really executing, and they're pushing all the right buttons, and it's showing. And for it, yeah, you got an undefeated record thus far, 3-0. I'm surprised. They're looking good.
What say you, Tim? Shane Steichen working with Daniel Jones seemed like a totally different quarterback versus being in the Colts and versus the Giants. And sort of like Sam Darnold, right? Went from San Fran, then he got a whole new beginning with the Vikings. You're like, this guy knows how to play football. He's pretty good. Pete, how are you taking these? You taking Daniel Jones pretty serious? 3-0 with the Colts. Is it a fluke, or we're just getting ahead of our skis here?
Do you guys hear that right now? That's me pumping the air brakes because I'm sorry. Listen. We're gonna find out this weekend against the Rams. That's a very good defense. And one thing about that we know about Daniel Jones, he cannot handle pressure. And let's be honest, he hasn't faced they're 3-0. They faced the Broncos, the Titans, and Miami. They're not world beaters. Just saying, and this is the first week, so you're kind of not getting everybody's best. So it's like, I do believe Daniel Jones always had that potential. I still think he was overdrafted when he was drafted. But if you look back at his stats with the Giants, I mean, he was injured most of the time. He had his best year was 2022. I think people forget he ran for 708 yards. 5.9 yards a carry. He's not that fast. like Galen said, he's not even Lamar. He's not even Mac Jones speed. That he's not fast. He really is. His game speed is there, but going by 40 times, he ran a 4.7. I'm using Mac Jones because Mac Jones ran a 4.6 or something, 4.8, 4.68. But I just want to see Sunday.
Okay.
If I see Sunday and I'm seeing and he's in the pocket, he's efficient, then I will be on board with Galen and say, you know what, he's for real. I personally can't do it yet because I don't. It's Miami, it's the Broncos. Their defense is not the greatest, and I'm missing a team here. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
In Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
And Tennessee.
Yeah,
Don't get me started with Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee is a mess. So I do
Tim,
think
what I'm
he's in a
saying,
better situation.
I know it's early. I'm not saying that it isn't, but I feel like even all those years as a member of the Giants, even against subpar competition, I don't ever really remember on one hand this guy ever playing quality football at any time. So that's what I mean. Like, at least he's going out and really kind of popping and standing out against subpar to below average talent in both week 1 and week 3, the Dolphins and Tennessee. I do really think highly of Denver's defense. I mean, they got a lot of skill and they're very high flying on that end of the ball. So the fact that they will even be able to squeak out that one, I would have thought that they would have lost that game. I'm just saying it's still early, but I am liking the early returns.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like Denver's defense in about 3 weeks is going to be Denver's defense. Like, they're going to be a lot better. They're going to be efficient because the first week they don't put too much on tape. It's like I say, it's extension of preseason. I do believe, though, I agree with you. He's a different quarterback from the Giants. That I will say.
Okay.
He needed a change of scenery. He's the type. He went to where? Duke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a big football school. Small market. You go and you get thrown into you're a little fish in a big pond in New York. So it was kind of like a Goff situation where he was a number 1 pick, all this pressure. I think it takes off a lot of pressure, and you're going to see the quarterback he can become. I think the pairing with this offensive coordinator is working. I do agree that. I'm just saying I want to see with a team like the Rams, who are savvy in the sense where when they have you on the ropes, supposedly, I won't say they didn't do with the Eagles, but they have that pass rushing prowess to get inside a quarterback's head. And Daniel Jones shown that when he's pressured, just like a lot of quarterbacks, he's a pumpkin. But if this continues, he keeps rolling, then I will say yes. I do think he's on an upper trajectory towards playing well. But I want personally, I'm going to pump the brakes until the Rams. And I say that for all the quarterbacks right now because it's only we just got done with week 3. I mean, this is not what I'm judging is when we're all talking after Thanksgiving and like, wow, this Daniel Jones, he's on fire. They're going to make a run. That's where I really like to gauge.
Okay.
How they did with adversity and when they start losing and everything and they lose their number 1 tight end or their running back and how he adjusts to that. That's what I want to see.
Well, it definitely bears watching because outside of next week's game, they're on the road against the Rams, which I agree. And then it looks like, was it 5, 6, 7, week 7 on the road against the Chargers. But in between those 2 games and after those games, they definitely have, some softer opponents, to say the least. The Raiders are on there, the Cardinals, the Titans. Pittsburgh has not been, their usual selves, and they've been far from impressive these days. So, I mean, everyone's going to slip up. Everyone's going to slip up here and there, But outside of those 2 upcoming games over the next month or whatever, they could definitely make some noise. So
for sure, they can also win the division too, right? The Texans and the Titans and Cam Ward. The
Texans are regressing.
Yeah, big time, big time. Disappointed with CJ Stroud.
They can't score. What are those guys doing?
Hey, the Colts actually punted for the first time in 19 drives, the longest streak without a punt dating back to the year 2000. Crazy. And I've got Jonathan Taylor, by the way, on my bench, on my not my bench, but my fantasy team. Kind of happy about that. No injuries, Galen. Not yet. Knock on wood. No injuries. Chargers are 3-0. Tim,
Don't speak too soon.
are they real? The Chargers? He's drinking the Kool-Aid in San Diego.
I kind of
in
am,
LA, my bad.
But to my point, I can't sit there and I was just like not giving Galen a hard time, but saying like, you know, we got to pump the brakes. I still would say the same thing with the Chargers. I do think, you know, they're a very talented team. The thing that I do worry about, me and Galen talk about this all the time, is the Herbert factor. Is like, can he do it when it matters? That's when, to me, when they're real. Like, they could have the greatest, like, listen, they could have the greatest regular season record. That's great and all. But this team, what's going to determine this team to me is what they do in the playoffs. Because I do believe Harbaugh's a very good coach. I always thought that. He's a very tough. He likes to run. And Herbert, it's a good mix for him. But Herbert does not do well when it's everything on him. And now he's getting now they're finally getting you know, paid off with Quentin Johnson.
Yep.
Finally.
Finally.
Because I mean, let's be honest. Everybody was screaming bust, bust, bust. And I heard there was trade rumors of him getting out of there. And, you know, I do think they're somewhat for real in the sense like Herbert has always been a talented quarterback in my eyes. So it's easy to say they're more for real than right now for me for the Colts because what Daniel's track record was before. But I will give them the same grace of like, I want to wait and see also. But right now they're going to be they're tough for anybody right now. I just think they're just playing good football. Yeah. They seem more polished than everybody right now. Everybody's still trying to figure out the undefeated teams are all the teams like the Eagles and the Chargers and the Colts. They're teams that they seem to have it on all three phases of the game. And if you notice all the other teams in the NFL, they're all still fumbling, you know,
trying to figure it out. Not
metaphorically also, and with this kicking cancer that is going on. Galen knows how I feel about kickers. Galen knows how I feel about kickers. I said this years ago.
I think about you every time I see a shank.
I gotta be honest. They come in with this smile on their face. They're really
Tim's laughing again.
They're really clean uniform. They got one job and they can't accomplish it. I'm sorry. I think it's time to take the kicking game out completely. I'm so sick of it.
Kickers. He
hates
kickers.
I hated when they played. When I played, I don't. I just think it's a wasted position. I'm sorry. Yes, Vinatieri won us the Super Bowl, but let's be honest. We got him down in that position for him to come out in his cute little cleats and kick the ball. I'm sorry. Kickers to me in medieval times are the archers. You know, remember the archers in medieval times? They come out, they're all clean, they shoot. No, that's what they are. Get out of here.
Kickers are players too, damn it. They're players. Galen, and they got a new ball, right? The K ball. It's a new ball now, right? It's a new ball going around now. The kicking the whole game now. It's a kicking league now. It seems like I get your frustration. But
it's just too much rides on their right leg. Or their left leg. That's the problem that I have.
Unless you're Aubrey, right? You got him on your team. You take many there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yards. Seahawks look good, but yes, it's the Saints. They took care of business. Another block punt. Saints in a rebuilding year, no doubt. San Fran banged up, but they found a way to get the job done. Purdy's out, Kittle's out, and Bosa out for the year, Galen. San Fran cupcake schedule. Where do you see them?
Let's not forget McCaffrey is still breaking news, healthy.
What do you make of San Fran? Cupcake schedule, a lot of injuries to overcome, right? It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, so far in the early going, there's definitely been a few injuries that they've had to, be up against. We had Kittle, Juwan Jennings, I believe as well.
Yep.
Then they just lost Bosa this past Sunday. Yeah. So we'll see. If that
Bosa's
really
made out of glass.
If that really kind of looks to interrupt the continuity up front there that they were showing, because that's a big loss. But hey, just despite a few of these notable injuries, to open the season. 3-0 is 3-0, so they've been looking good. They've been taking care of business. I mean, granted, the competition, like I think Tim or you, Kemper, were just alluding to, hasn't been fierce at all. So it doesn't totally surprise me. But at the same time, I mean, they can just as easily be teetering around 1-2, 0-3, because virtually every single one of these games, like, they're not really fooling anybody. They're not really going out and just dominating these first few games. But again, how much of that is due to like these injuries and missing key pieces? I feel like once they do get more and more healthier in the coming weeks, I feel like we should start to really get a better feel just really how talented and skilled and just for real these guys can be. But I feel like in the here and the now, there is a little bit of a tough immediate schedule in the next month, like consecutively. They're home again next week against are they home or are they one of the overseas games, or is that game in San Fran?
Not quite sure. You can look.
No, they're at 49.
They're in San Fran, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Against the Jags.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, but those games do start this week as well. But yeah, they're home against the Jaguars. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jaguars go in there and steal that game from them. And then consecutively, they're at the Rams, at Tampa Bay, two extremely tough matches, for them, upcoming matches for them, health or not. I mean, that's two quality opponents, and then they're back home against Atlanta. So it's good that they're getting off on the right foot and 3-0, because I feel like they could easily end up just coming up a bit short in two of these next three games, to say the least. But so far so good, and I feel like, again, like I was just joking, but a healthy Christian McCaffrey is a nice little cheat code. So I mean, fingers crossed there. Hopefully, he stays in good health. But if as long as they have him, I mean, I'll always give them a fighter's chance.
He ain't gonna make it out of October. I'm sorry.
We'll see. he did back in 2023.
I know. He just makes me nervous with the injuries. It's really becoming a huge issue for him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Every single week he stays upright. You really can't take him for granted, because we've seen it too many times just play out in the past, where it's just like he's looking good, he's looking very like just spry and explosive, and then boom, like
just
gone.
imagine what he could have done, and even the statistics that could have accomplished if he was healthy all the time. If he was one of the Ironmen that could he's been in the league since 2017, if I'm correct. So Panthers, so 2017, and through that, I mean, he hasn't played a full season like in a while. Now you add that, I mean, the guy could have been a lot more dangerous. It's his health. I mean, he's a freakish athlete. He's unbelievable. He's just is big problems there, and and then you have Bosa, who's made out of glass, and they invest a lot of money in him, man.
Kittle too. Big,
and what, Ayuk too signs a big contract, and San Francisco's got really bad contracts, man. Really bad contracts.
Really, really bad contracts.
Yep.
Bears Cowboys. Bears went after the boys. CeeDee Lamb ankle injury. Caleb looked good. I guess he listened to our criticism, Galen. Brian Johnson working his magic. 24-14.5. Who knew? Cowboys just brutal, just awful all day. Really disappointing. 31-14. What happened to the Bears, Galen? They snapped their 6-game home losing streak. Cowboys, no pressure on the quarterback in a passing league, no Micah Parsons, and they're paying for the price. They're paying dearly. Thoughts on Caleb Williams? How surprised were you? Ben Johnson work his magic. The Bears look good. I was like, is that Jim McMahon out there? Like, he was slinging the ball around there on Sunday versus the Cowboys. Just no defense, no effort whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was actually a serious question or not. What happened to the Bears and Caleb Williams? Well, you just said it. 10 seconds ago. The Dallas Cowboys and that putrid defense happened. I mean, if they weren't able to go out and look, good to borderline great against a joke of a secondary and just overall defense thus far, in that the Dallas Cowboys have shown right out the gate, I mean, then you probably can't really do it against anybody. I mean, Dallas has not been even at all like just respectable. You can't take them serious until they just figure it out or make some changes. But I mean, this defense is not good. They're certainly not credible in like any way. And even though the Chicago Bears, I feel like at time we're saying like, oh, well, Caleb Williams, he hasn't really quite emerged we would have wanted to see as of yet. And then you got young wide receivers from this past draft class, Luther Burden, Roma Dunze from last year. I mean, we expected things to be a little slow with Burden, but we expected for a Dunze to take that, second year leap. And I feel like before this past week in week 3, I mean, it's been a little bit of a slow start for him as well. But yeah, if there was ever that get right game against that, get right sort of defense, just like no excuses, like you guys have to show something and just show signs of life and potentially more, then the Cowboys were that, right opportunity for them. And that's exactly what we saw in week 3. So again, back like what Tim was saying with, Herbert and the Chargers, now are they able to, take this game, go back, throughout the week, watch the tape and, be able to continue to just fine tune what positive steps we were able to see from this offense in practice. And then once again in week 4, I mean, we'll see, hopefully they can, start stacking some quality showings and maybe not be this dynamic and this electric. But they don't need to be as lackluster and, just average to subpar offensively neither. I mean, there's just no excuse. They have enough talent and players on the offensive side of the ball, and you took Caleb number 1 overall to dare I say be that savior, right? To be that answer at quarterback. So I don't know if they're quite this good, but I don't think they've been as bad as what they had been before Sunday neither. So I feel like somewhere's lies, they lie in the middle moving forward.
You buying what you saw from the Bears and Caleb Williams there, Tim?
Galen knows what I'm going to say about this. I'm actually a Bears fan. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Dallas, it was more of Dallas being Dallas. Bad defense, bad offense. The Bears are going to get lucky next week also because they have the Raiders. So they have they came in, they beat Dallas, and now they're having the Raiders. They have both these games to build his confidence, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's enough. And I'm going to tell you why. Odunze, who I was really big on coming out, has became a pumpkin. The only 100-yard game he had was against Detroit, and if you guys remember, it was a 52-21 loss.
Yeah.
And basically he had receiving yards in garbage time, basically. So Burden, yes, finally put something together 1 week. But for a team that, if you remember last year, they invested so much in, people forget, in offensive players and the tight end and all this stuff, they have done absolutely nothing. I think Ben Johnson, who I absolutely adore and I really wanted him in New England, I think he has his work cut out for him. This defense is still abysmal. The defense only looked good because it's Dallas, and Dallas is abysmal offense. No offense, Galen. They're not there. There's some things going on. I think So it makes a team like the Bears capitalize on it. Now, do I think Williams is, the second coming? No, I still think there's a work in progress. I think he's still very inconsistent. For someone who played as much as he did in college, I was expecting him to be much better last year, even though he was a rookie. We talked about comparing experience from like Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb. Caleb had
even Bo Nix. A lot of experience.
A lot of experience, and it shows though. Like Bo Nix went into a situation, he got a guru like I can't think of his name right now.
Sean Payton, yeah.
Sean Payton,
yeah.
And groomed him to be a game manager. But if you watch Bo Nix, if anything goes awry, he can't work off the cuff. That's not his style. Caleb is the type of guy, he can't work in structure. He has to run around like with his head cut off. And Ben Johnson is more like, hey, this Ben Johnson offense is kind of like a dummied down version of Josh McDaniels' offense. Same principles. A lot of people forget. They attack the middle of the field. That's what his style is. Like they use the 2 tight end sets, blah blah blah. That's why they got Loveland. Now they have Kmet there. That should be a crazy duo. That offense should be a lot better than what it produced against Dallas. I think they'll get better. I'm not buying it. I do believe though the Raiders are such a terrible team. They will beat the Raiders, but after that, I believe they come back down to earth and they play. Just give me 1 second, because I laughed when I saw it. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna come back down to reality.
Yeah.
Were you talking about the schedule? I had it up.
Yeah.
They're at Oakland next week. Week 4, and then followed by at Commanders, home against the Saints, and then at the Ravens.
The Commanders will definitely test them defensively, and I like with it, but I am concerned with the investment. I really thought Odunze was the guy, and he just hasn't put it together. I mean, out of all the receivers, Odunze was up there with Marvin Harrison and Neighbors. He was in that conversation we all can remember, and I was a huge pusher of Odunze, and I just haven't seen it. I just have not. His game has not translated to the NFL. Some guys are late bloomers, but as you guys all know, by year 2, you could already tell if they're going to start to reach that potential. When it comes to receivers, not all positions. Receivers, though, by year 2, you can already start to see if they're going in the right direction. I don't see it. And Burden is more of that like. He's not a precise route runner. He's that guy like he's going to make plays like a Deebo Samuel.
Right.
He's going to make plays, but he's not a a Justin Jefferson who's like the route tree guy and just an amazing,
kind of like a jack of all trades, like a little bit of a gadgety,
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of got that gadgety game.
Exactly. But I do think it was a good win for the Bears' confidence. But I do think they're going to crash back down to earth when they play the Commanders, and people start to figure out, because I just don't think Williams is capable to. That was the knock on him, to read defenses in this system. But I could be wrong. But I do like what I saw as a fan, and I like that they beat Galen Cowboys. It just as a little extra. But it was more of like, honestly, Dallas is a mess. Just as an organizational whole, and if Dallas gets that together, I don't think they beat them.
I just feel though like it was very telling, because we haven't really seen not only much from Odunze, but we really haven't seen all that much inspiring play neither from Caleb Williams. Thus far, and I feel like even though that opposite, opponent, that they were up against in Dallas, and that putrid, current defense that, is just can't be taken seriously. Like, I feel like anyone should be able to like just have their way with Dallas these days. I mean, that's just basically what they're putting on tape. That's what they bring to the field on Sunday. But I just feel like I couldn't quite trust Chicago just to have that like absolute, no doubt about it, get right game,
Right.
and them just actually look good in the process. So if there was that one game that I expected it to be, yeah, it should have been Sunday. And I feel like we shouldn't really discredit that, because as we can all agree at different points, whether you're talking about Chicago or the Patriots or Dallas, even, especially now, like being without CD Lamb, momentum is a real, like, it's contagious, and I feel like you
need
just
a little
never
bit of it.
know. You just never know. Even though the quality of a defense wasn't really anything to go crazy about, they look good against them, and that's all you can ask for. If they had still beat Dallas but struggled to do so, that would be very alarming. So that's what I'm saying. Can they go back, review the footage, watch the tape or whatever, and just continue to, like, just build and stack this and just find that momentum? Because with their upcoming schedule that we alluded to, they're gonna need to carry and have that momentum going against these opponents. And if they can just entrust on, like, hey, we can continue to do this more often than what we showed. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen in the NFL. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
You never
Very
know.
true. Bengals look awful, no Burrow, and they lost the Vikings scored 2 defensive touchdowns versus the Bengals with no Joe Burrow. They lose 48-10. It's the worst loss in Bengal history. Commanders versus Raiders, second time at the East Coast for them this season. They seem not too comfortable as yet. Running back Genty is going to be a star in the making, but the Raiders, second time on the East Coast, not looking too great. Panthers versus the Falcons, 30-0 Falcons. What happened? I don't know. Texans lose to my Jags, now move to 0-3.
I don't understand. I don't understand that shutout. Like, who? Again, this is why, again, you don't bet. Because who saw that coming?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I didn't.
Yeah.
And then now the same Carolina Panthers team is coming to Foxborough next week.
Yeah.
Without their starting tight end.
Boy.
Without their starting tight end.
Without their starting tight end.
I get it, but that was very impressive. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Tim, which 0-3 team has no hope? You've seen enough. The Jets, the Giants, the Saints, the Texans, the Dolphins.
I gotta be honest. I out of all those teams, I think the Miami, the coaching staff is just. I just think they're out to lunch, but they do have talent on their team.
Okay.
I would say the Saints are in danger of being irrelevant. And they
Archie
just
Manning, right? He's got roots in Mississippi.
It's the Saints they're tricky because ever since Peyton left, they just have not been the same. That coaching carousel, and I did like Spencer Rattler coming out of college. Did I think he was going to be a starting QB in this league? Not right away. I thought he had the potential, but when you're relying on your third round guy because their drafting just been abysmal. It's just been abysmal, and right. I think that out of everybody you named, I think they have the least hope because even though Miami may not seem like if they fire McDaniels, I do feel like there's an interim guy that can get these guys to play. There's just too much talent just on offense alone. I mean, with the running back, the 2 receivers, they got the tight end. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm choosing the Saints right now. Okay. Miami's the easy. I think Miami's just too easy to say. It's the obvious one.
Right.
But I got to go with someone like Saints right now. To me, they're just. I look at them on a schedule and I'm like, oh, that's an easy win for this team.
Yeah.
Miami, I'm like, well, at least Miami has home field advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami at least has this going for them. Saints have nothing going for them. They have nothing. Nothing.
What say you, Galen? Which 0-3 team has no hope? You've seen enough. Jets, Giants, Saints, Texans, Dolphins.
Yeah, I would have been tempted to say the Dolphins, but yeah, Tim nailed that right on the head. I mean, you look at just not for nothing, but I still can't totally ignore, like Tim was saying, their personnel. Again, there's plenty, to be effective. maybe then they're not all that close. Granted, from even being a playoff team at the end of the day, let alone like having championship aspirations. But I mean, guys like Achane, again, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, even Tua has his moments when healthy. Knock on wood there. But they still have an above average personnel squad. So with them, it's like in between the ears. Like, are they really just done with Mike McDaniel? And if so, have they tuned him out? Because those are going to be the things that, like, unfortunately are controllable. And then they're just electing as a team just to not really be on board and just rally around not only themselves, but, him and the coaching staff to kind of do what they need to do on Sundays. I feel like, if they just like, what, we're done, we're over this, then it could really snowball out of control. It can turn into a borderline avalanche. I mean, I don't rule that out. But should it? No, I'm with Tim. I don't think so, but I just feel like they're on the cusp of going in either direction.
Have you
But
guys seen their schedule?
but assuming it doesn't go off the rails, yeah, outside of the Saints, I mean, yeah, they got Kamara. They have for now, just like the whole McCaffrey sort of week to week, update, / warning. They have the Chris Olave, which is again a really good wide receiver in this league, but has struggled with concussions and all that stuff. And they even have Rashid Shaheed, which I really like. But outside of those three, I mean, who else? They're really, really hurting and coming up extremely short with overall talent, like proven talent. And I will say, like he was saying, Spencer Ratliff, believe it or not, he's actually been a bit of a surprise so far, like, around the NFL. He's definitely been that game manager. He hasn't really quite put this offense on his back. And kind of elevated them, but at the same time, he's not hurting them. He's keeping them in these games through the first couple weeks. Yeah, they got blown out this past week, but he has been a pleasant surprise. Now, can that continue? Maybe. I mean, obviously, what we're about to see. But at the end of the day, I just feel like eventually it's definitely going to go off the rails in New Orleans, and that they just need so much through and through this team. So
there's a huge chance
that's probably the obvious pick is the Saints.
There's a huge chance they go winless. I'm looking at their schedule, and I really don't. There's a huge chance that they lose every game.
Wow.
Because they have the Bills next week, lost. Giants lost. The Patriots lost. Bears lost. Buccaneers lost. Rams lost. Panthers lost. Falcons maybe. Dolphins, I think they lose. Buccaneers, they lose. Panthers, they lose. Jets, lost. Titans, maybe. And Falcons, maybe. But I could really see them losing.
Wow. My boy Kellen Moore out there, too. He got a ring with the Eagles, and now he's over there now. Well, growing pains, right?
Yeah.
Just land that good quarterback, and you never know what can happen. It's a crapshoot.
Rattler is a good quarterback, but he's the type he needs a good nucleus. They don't have it.
They don't have it. Yeah.
They don't have it.
But I mean, against the Cardinals and the 49ers, they were right there, to kind of steal those games from under both of those teams. So when I see that, I mean, and then I also see, inferior, teams that aren't world beaters. I mean, yeah, they've grown and taken stride, but I give them a chance against the Panthers. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah.
Dolphins that late in the season, they could be complete and utter disarray. And then, of course, the Jets and the Titans. Who knows? I mean, they could, stack a couple of, late season wins. I mean, I don't rule it out, but it's kind of hard to go over the season.
I'm just saying I could see it though with that schedule and the way they are. They're so They're just out of all the teams. Like he asked the question, out of all the 0-3 teams, who the one there's no chance? It seems like they're the closest. They're touching it.
Agree.
I mean, against the Bills, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say they have no chance. The Bills are playing
none whatsoever.
No chance.
No.
So we go from the 0-3 club to the 3-0 club, right? So Eagles, Bucks, Chargers, Colts, Bills, Niners. Who's the biggest fraud in those teams? Eagles, Bucks, Chargers, Colts, Bills, Niners.
I would say the Niners.
Yeah, I'm going Niners too. But
are they though?
Yeah, you gotta say it,
They're
dude.
too banged up. They're too banged up.
Yeah, that's what I'm going
but
by.
I mean, but they do have guys that are not lost for the season and will be back, eventually. I would have to say, even though I talked very, very highly of them a little while ago, I would have to say the Colts.
Oh man, Galen
I
against
think
the grain. Wow.
I think so. Only because, like Tim said, I mean, it's still very, very early for a guy that again hasn't really done much in Daniel Jones.
But they do have a quarterback.
But if it does continue,
Mac
then
Jones
hey, okay,
Jones.
then we were wrong.
I think that I could agree with him though. They could be 1 and 2 though.
Purdy, I think Purdy is going to be back in the next week, maybe 2. So that's why I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on San Fran because they have guys that are out, but they're also not that far from getting right back into the mix and starting to either if they're able to sustain it or if they do take a loss or two in the short term, getting right back on track rather quickly. I could see them righting the ship if it starts to go south. I really can. So I'm gonna go the Colts.
Purdy's going to come back, and then McCaffrey's going to be out. That's what's going to end up happening. That's what happens with the 49ers. They're so interchangeable.
And you know what's funny? And you know what's funny? That's something I won't be betting because that very well could happen.
I told you, don't bet. Don't do it. We saw some major injuries this week. CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Connor, Najee Harris, Bosa. Get well soon, guys. But those are some major, major injuries for those teams and those ball clubs there. Deion Sanders explains why Shedeur Sanders didn't want to be drafted by the Ravens. I've never sat on the bench and thought, gee, I learned a lot today. His words, not mine. Typical prime time, right? Typical prime time there, Tim.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thought in context, though, he was saying that he knew he would never get playing time being behind Lamar. And that's
for 10 years, right? Yeah.
I respect that because let's face it, like he's a franchise. He just signed a huge contract. I respect that. But you can't blame a guy like I don't get when people kind of hate on a guy for believing in himself and be like, hey man, I think you want your quarterback to be that way. You want a guy to be like, I don't want to sit behind somebody. Because you give me the guy that says, yeah, I want to sit by him. I don't want him. Get off my team, dude. Get off my team. Go play somewhere. But I want to. Speaking of that, do you think? My question to you guys is: do you think Shedeur is too confident in his ability?
Yes.
I think as of right now, yes.
Okay. That I think we all could agree. I mean,
yeah, you can learn from Flacco, and Jordan Love learned from Aaron Rodgers. It happens. Yeah. It all depends on the individual, how bad you really want it. And you can go in a system, play really well like a Sam Darnold, and then get a whole lot of change, and then go somewhere else.
Cleveland didn't do him any favors, though. They didn't do him any favors.
And let's face it. I mean, we've seen it just leading up to the draft process, all throughout the draft process. There was no doubt about it. The NFL as a whole was trying to humble this kid and teach him a lesson. They were basically sending a message. It couldn't have been any more clear, any more louder. And I feel like, you only get to that point. A big part of why that is just how he carried himself, how he conducted himself. You hear some of these interviews where it's just he just went into it, just thinking that his stuff doesn't stink. You know what I mean? He was like
that was allegedly though. That's the thing I don't like though. He's a young guy.
He was borderline
Last name
cocky,
Sanders.
with some of these, and
And
like
yeah, but we gotta understand.
maybe there was nothing to it, and it was overblown. But let's just say if it was, then bro, who are you? You know what I
He
mean?
was the
Like,
140 something pick, and he's doing 140 miles per hour speeding. I mean,
all right, like,
I understand all of that. The thing that everybody's got to understand though, he did have it differently than any other quarterback. Where the sense was his dad was such a global superstar. He had the aura, like he had that confidence. I didn't take that as like he was cocky. He was a guy that like he was confident in his abilities. The problem that did him in it was that somebody in the NFL, I feel, derailed his draft shit, because I got to be honest, a lot of teams, because Galen could remember me saying 2 years ago, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks coming out, and he does. He has tremendous pocket awareness. I do think he took a step back last year. That's just the God honest truth. But I also feel like mentally, like Cleveland was one of the worst teams he could have gone, because let's be honest, we all three of us can sit here and say, wow, what was Cleveland thinking on draft night?
Yeah.
They were like, he was sitting there, and the owner came down like, hey, stop this bullshit and draft the kid. And then you have what, 3-4 quarterbacks there? It was just a cluster.
It was nuts. Who's going to be the better pro though, Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders? Better pro career.
I gotta be honest. I'm starting to think Travis Hunter needs to stay as a wide receiver. He should not be playing DB.
Okay.
I think he could be an elite wide receiver. I think he's starting to realize the physicality of the NFL is not college. And you're not going to be a two-way. I don't think he could do the two-way thing. I think he should stay learning the receiver position. It will help Marsha Brady over there. It'll help her out. And
Marsha.
It'll help her out. So I'm just saying that I do think at this point, I think Hunter will be he'll be the better pro.
Okay.
Shedeur has just a higher climb. He has a way higher climb.
Yeah, he hasn't even sniffed the grass yet. So
yeah, who's the guy that he's the kid from
he's got Oregon.
Gabriel.
And Gabriel's terrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has
no business going before Shedeur.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Yeah.
What a joke.
I feel like somebody made a call. Somebody had a vendetta. I really feel against Dion and Dion's bravado. It does happen, and I get it. But Shedeur was a lot better than a lot of those guys. I'm sorry, and he has that like QB mentality where he can read defenses. Do I think he was a first round pick? No, not in this draft. No, absolutely not.
Right.
I think that was overhyped. I think that was really, but I do not think that kid deserved to go 5th round. That was to me, that was a kind of a conspiracy.
Yeah, for sure. Galen, it's time for the pick 6, buddy. Are you ready for the pick 6? That's where we make our picks for the week.
Yeah, let's go.
Panthers, Pats. Who you got?
This is a tough one. I want to go New England, but I thought about this one long and hard earlier. I'm leaning Panthers, and I'm doing so just because I just think that they have a little bit more that they've been showing, to say the least, offensively. Right. And right now, just New England's defense just has really yet to show much of anything up to this point.
Yeah, so I'll lead Panthers as well too. Who do you got, Tim?
I have the Patriots because I do believe that Drake May is going to slay the dragon of his favorite home team.
There you go.
And there's extra motivation. I think the Panthers win in Atlanta against Atlanta was a fluke, and so much so that everybody is like, "What was it, a dream? Or like, what's going on here?" I just think the Patriots will wake up and there's just too much. Josh McDaniels is just too strong of an offensive mind to have a second, just a failed offensive scheme for a second week in a row. And they'll fix the fumbling issues, whether that's sitting Ramondre and get Drake firing on all cylinders quickly. And I could see the Pats winning, and I could see this getting out of hand with the Pats winning.
Okay. Seahawks Cards, Galen. Who you got?
I'm gonna lean towards the Seahawks. Obviously, if you haven't seen, there was a pretty big loss, injury. James Conner, fractured ankle.
Yeah.
And I do like Benson as obviously the running back moving forward, but it's still Kyle Murray. Which Kyle Murray is gonna show up? I mean, we could say the same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like he flashes, he's got a knack for the big play, but then he drops wide open passes with nobody around him. I just think that the Seahawks are a little bit more of a trustworthy team.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Sea Chickens as well too. Tim, who do you got?
I got Seahawks too.
Seahawks.
I can't choose a card, especially with the injury.
Packers Cowboys. Galen, who do you got?
Packers Cowboys. I gotta go Packers.
Packers. Okay.
Yeah, it kills me to say it, but no CeeDee Lamb obviously for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Last week's hiccup aside, with them coming up and being knocked off on the road to the Cleveland Browns, certainly they're gonna want revenge for themselves. Get back on track. The defense has been playing tremendous thus far on the year. And there's obviously the utmost motivation with the return to the Big D for one, Micah Parsons, and, paying Jerry's World a little visit. Hi, Jerry.
Go Pack, go. I'm going Packers. Tim, who do you got? Packers, Cowboys.
Well, this is the tale of two cheeses. One, the Packers, and the other cheese is the Swiss cheese defense of the Cowboys. I got the Packers.
Packers, go Pack, go. All right. Jets versus the Finns. Somebody's going 0-4. Galen, who do you got?
I kind of like what New York's been showing right out the gate, despite their record. But again, it at the end of the day, it ends up being about quality of players, and sometimes like given the slight edge, like in this case, I think it's going to end up coming down to which team is home, and that team is Miami. However, we still don't know about Justin Fields, so Jets could surprise and pull this one out. So I don't know, but my gut tells me Miami. Give me Miami.
I'm going to go Jets, Jets, Tyrod Taylor. We'll see what he can do. A little magic back there behind center. What do you got, Tim?
I got the Dolphins. I just can't do it. Not at home. They're at home. I can't go against them.
Home in at 3:05. 2 Monday Night Football games. Not a fan of 2 Monday Night Football games. Maybe week 1 of the season, but like every other week, Monday Night Football games. And it's like one starts at 7, one is at 8:30. It's like NFL. I mean, enough is enough.
For you guys. For me, it's like 4 o'clock and 7.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, Galen.
We get it, Galen. We get it,
Galen.
Well, what I'm saying is like, can I get in a full day's worth of work? Like, Jesus, I have to cut it short just for the game.
The games are past my bedtime, man.
Yeah, seriously. We got Bungles versus the Broncos. Who do you got, Galen?
Denver all day.
Yeah, I got Denver too.
I do too. I got Denver.
I don't see the Bengals.
No contest. Shouldn't be a contest.
Yeah. Lastly, Philly versus the Buccaneers in Tampa. Galen, who do you got?
In Tampa, that's gonna be a tough one. But you know what? I don't know if you heard. According to reports, the Bucks are going to be without Mike Evans for at least the next 2 games.
Hammy.
With that hammy from this past week. So with that being said, a little battered, a little bruised. I'm also hearing too that there could be a surprise return ahead of schedule for Chris Godwin, but still, I think it's a little too much too soon. Eagles.
Fly Eagles fly.
I got the Eagles too.
All right. Very good. Very, very good. How'd you guys do in fantasy football, Galen? Chopping block? Did you survive the chopping block, my friend?
I did. And what's funny is my friend that created the league and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Dude, he wasn't trending anyways, even close to being chopped. And wouldn't you know, I clicked on his team because now he was showing in the red, showing that he was on the verge of being chopped. I'm like, no way. I'm like, this can't be right. Dude,
Yeah.
his team pulled a no-show. He got
Wow,
chopped this
he
week.
got chopped. God.
I'm still a survivor in week 4. It
How
feels
about
good.
you, Tim? How's your
He
fantasy?
doesn't do fantasy.
I'm not a fantasy guy.
He makes fun of fantasy.
I don't.
Oh, you make fun of fantasy.
I'm not a fantasy guy.
All right.
Beantown Tim does not do fantasy.
Beantown Southie Tim. Doesn't do fantasy.
I was like, Kempfer's he's gonna walk right into a nice little surprise with that one.
Shout out to Barcelona. They beat Newcastle Champions League a couple of days
There we
ago,
go.
2-1. Then they won 3-0 on Sunday versus Getafe. My boy Rashford, he's back to normal form. So shout out to him. Then he was late, so the coach benched him. He was 2 minutes late, and he got benched. Didn't start the game on Sunday. That's Hansi Flick for you. Then Ousmane Dembele, 2025 Ballon d'Or winner. My guy Lamine Yamal, big Barcelona fan. He was runner-up. It's pretty much going to be his award to win the next couple seasons. A little bit of sad news here to end the show. Former Cincinnati Bengals running back Rudy Johnson has died by suicide in Florida. Charged after midnight on Tuesday. Cause of death is not yet known, but we're told he had been recently struggling with mental health issues and possible effects of CTE that he could not overcome.
I thought it was suicide. I thought I
Yeah,
heard suicide. Yeah.
So very, very sad news.
Terrible,
And
terrible.
cricket umpire Dickie Bird passed away in 92. Legendary umpire Dickie Bird officiated 66 test matches and 76 one-day matches internationals. Cricket, including 3 World Cup finals, has passed away at age 92. Fred VanVleet, Galen, see you rocking the Boston stuff over there. Fred VanVleet tore an ACL, out for the season. Huge blow for the Rockets, who are title contenders. Man, oh man. Some sad news out of Houston there tonight. By the way, Tim, what do you think of Brady, the statue there? Tommy boy. Tommy, what's the statue? What's it looking like? What do you think about that statue? It looks pretty good. Right?
I think it was a really good statue. I wish they did the two-handed fist bump that he does. The one-handed, it kind of looks kind of Marino-esque. I think I'm the only one that noticed that. I don't like that. I don't want to, but he does look a little lonely out there. Maybe one day we get Billy Boy next to him, and
right.
But I don't know. Right now, the way things are trending,
not looking too good.
It looks like Billy Boy's statue is going to be across in the swamp by itself.
By the way, do you think he comes back next season? The $10 million buyout, $10 million is nothing to count these guys, right? So
where do you think he comes
Belichick,
back?
He comes back to coach the NFL, or he's staying in college?
I think if he coaches anyway.
You really think he's going to have an open door anywhere in this league?
I mean,
the way things are trending,
I think honestly,
he can't even figure out the college. He can't even figure out the collegiate level.
I know he got washed.
Yeah, but let's not get it twisted. The guy's a hell of an NFL coach. But I still think if there's any team right now, it's trending to be Miami, just to stick it to Robert Kraft, because them two are like.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see him riding the sunset with his birds up the whole way and being like, you know what, now I got you, man, and just. But I honestly think. I think we like to toy with that idea, but I think he's done in the NFL. I would have to agree with Galen. Just a sense like he brings too much turmoil now. He didn't end on the greatest note. He wants to be GM. He's old. He's crabby. He's the grandpa nobody wants anymore. Let's be honest. But he deserves a statue. He deserves a statue though.
Galen, what's your take on Tommy Boy statue out there in Foxborough? Like the statue? Hate it, man?
I thought it was okay. It's kind of hard to really get a feel with with like precise accuracy. With me, just being like obviously over here now, not being able to pop in and visit it for myself. I mean, I'm only going on what I've seen through like social media, pictures, videos, etc. What Tim sent me. I mean, it looked like it was pretty well detailed, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know if if I look at it for a split second and be like, oh shoot, that's Tom Brady. If I didn't know any better, you know.
Can't get worse than
And
Dwayne Wade's statue, right?
then they're saying like his head's like doesn't fit the rest of the statue body.
Nah,
or something.
nobody said that. Nah.
Did you see Dwayne Wade's
I don't know.
statue?
I did
No,
hear.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
I did hear
Cristiano
some say that he
Ronaldo
had a
was the
small
worst
head.
statue. Cristiano Ronaldo was the worst statue ever. So much so that my mother, who does not watch sports regularly, goes, "Oh man," looks at me and says, "I hope Tom Brady's statue doesn't look like Cristiano's." That's how bad Cristiano's was.
But from
Oh.
what I'm hearing, though, Kemford, they did for the most part do a pretty good job.
Okay.
You know, with the statue.
Galen's
And
upset because he wants the Adam Vinatieri statue because he loves
it
his kickers
is-
so
He
much.
loves kickers.
it seems like it was you know, they did put some thought in it. I honestly thought in terms of like the pose, I was kind of
I wanted
wondering,
two
and it would have been nice either that or remember like what wasn't it the first Super Bowl when he went like this, like
Yeah.
that would have
Yeah.
been cool, you know,
Right.
or just like let's go with the fist pump, but we
Right.
didn't get that.
Well,
You know, I
they
feel
did
like
the one. They did the one. If you put it side by side with the Dan Marino one, it kind of looks similar. And I'm like looking at it the other day, and I'm like, wow, son of a bitch! I really think they like copied it. I think the guy was like, you know what? Let's just do this pose because Tom Brady's like Julian Edelman in his podcast said
Right.
he should be doing the two. He always did the two-handed thing, not this one-handed thing like he's Superman.
Right.
I mean, I'm not down for that. It's fine. I visit his statue every day when I'm up there.
There you
We
go.
have dinner together, you know.
There
We
you go.
eat
All
out, you know.
Just got Bill, Robert Kraft. Get Bill up there.
Just get Bill.
up
Bill right now is in the swamp, like
Yeah.
with the birds shitting on him, you know.
there. Great show, guys. That was your show, man. Great stuff. Tim from Southie, Boston. That flew by pretty fast.
Beantown Tim here. Beantown Tim.
Beantown What we learned today,
nice
guys,
job, man. Nice job.
What we learned
Glad
today.
you
What
could
I learned today, I learned that Galen loves kickers. And Tim thinks the Saints are gonna go 0-17.
You had to fuel this guy. Yeah.
Tim, what did you learn today, my friend? What did you learn? Did you learn
What
anything?
I learned today was this is gonna be a fun ride if we continue this. The three of us, and the other thing is that I learned too that Galen really loves kickers. You know.
Galen, GC, what did you learn, my friend? What did you learn today, my friend?
I learned, quite shockingly, I'm gonna throw both of you guys a knuckleball, not even a curveball, a knuckleball.
Yeah.
That Tim is a instant sensation, doing what we invited him on our platform to do, and it was a pleasure. It was awesome. You know,
that's great, guys.
Sure.
and I knew
Thanks for
he
having
would.
me.
I knew he would crush it. Just like I was telling you off to the side. And, you know, we talk if not every day.
I make it simple, Tim.
You know, just
No, I
about
appreciate it.
every other day. You know, several times a week, and I always look at my phone and it's just like, damn, like I really do wish I was back home because it's nice, and I do miss just chopping it up on his porch. You know, just on a nice, you know, beautiful summer night like we've done so many times over the years and stuff like
Kenford,
that.
don't let him fool you. He only likes to be on my porch because he likes to drink my beer. That's
Oh,
why.
wait.
That's
You know,
all it is.
we-
Yeah.
we-
Smuggler, get out of here.
we're constantly doing this, whether it's over the phone or in person, or actually enjoying the game, you know, together and stuff. It's always just, you know, an honor, you know, and he's very knowledgeable, he's very passionate, and that's basically what you saw and heard tonight.
Sure. Hey, Tim, could you say chowder for us before we head out of here? Chowder.
Chowder?
Is there a way to say chowder? Chowder?
Well,
chowder?
if I say I used to date this girl in Florida, and she had a really southern accent. She sounded like Paula Deen on the Food Network, and she used to tell me like, can you? Anytime I spoke, she had a really hard time understanding what I was saying. Like I would say things like simple, like my finger. I broke my finger. She said, "What's a finger?" I'm sorry. Do you mean I meant a finger? And every time I pronounce my R's, I was trying to do it on the show today with these guys because I didn't want to sound, you know, uneducated, but I can't help it. I'm from where I'm from. I sound like a pirate. So I try just to be natural, and that's why I say chowder. I say my kakis, and we park the car, and hey,
Yeah,
that's the
there
way
you
it
go.
is. I'm not going to change.
Hey,
But go ahead.
I went to the store this weekend, Stuart Leonard's, and I bought a 6-pack of Galen. You'll appreciate this. Sam Seasonal Oktoberfest, buddy. So cheers
Oh.
to you guys.
It's a
There
classic.
you go.
That thing was
Yes.
delicious.
There you
You've
go.
never had it before?
I once in a while I'll dabble, but this time of the year
Yeah.
I gotta have my seasonal, my
Gotta
pumpkin
have it.
beer, my
Yeah,
pumpkin cheesecake.
absolutely.
Are you more of a lager guy? I'm sorry, a lager guy. A lager. Am I doing it correct? Lager.
I'm a lager guy. Yeah, more of a lager guy. Lager.
When I
guy.
say lager, they're like, "What the hell's a lager?"
Yeah.
A lager, man.
That was fantastic.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
that's the Oktoberfest hits the right spot, man. That was fantastic.
Awesome.
And chowder. See, Galen's lost his accent now, Tim. He's a West Coast guy now.
Yeah, but you know what? When he
Different
was
time
down,
zones, West Coast.
yeah, but when he was down here, he already because
Not,
he was on TV on media and did all that. He was very
Yeah.
good at
He's a big shot. Big shot.
hiding it. And I was
Yeah.
always his friend.
Yeah.
He'd ask me to go and things. I'm like, hey man, I don't speak like you do. They're gonna
Yeah.
really be like, what is this guy talk? They're gonna have to put subtitles on the bottom when I talk.
Yeah, there you go.
So hey.
Pleasure, guys. You guys are
Hey,
fantastic.
likewise.
Galen, you're
Awesome.
great as always. Let's do this again. Week
Yeah,
4,
absolutely.
week 3 in the books. On to week 3. We are out of here.
All right, take it easy.
Show's over.
That's it.
Benford, Galen, Tim. Chowder. We're out. That was good stuff, man.